Hampshire Motor Speedway in anticipation of the Lennox Industrial Tools 301.
We got two good cars up here on the front row. Proud of all you guys for that. Great day, baby. Nice and smooth all day. See you in victory lane at the end of this thing.
Green flag waves, and Ryan Newman rockets to the front and roars into one.
Green flag is waving. Ryan Newman gets a great restart and quickly separates from Kurt Busch.
Ryan Newman's been doing a great job of keeping his car out front, but this may be it. Kurt Busch now up to the driver's door of Ryan Newman. He's on the inside, but Newman hangs on.
Everybody's saving fuel except for the 14.
Stewart passed Jeff Gordon on the outside. He'll do the same thing to Kurt Busch. Move him now into the third spot.
Ryan Newman in the U.S. Army Chevy will win the Lennox Industrial Tools 301.
One hell of a day, boys. One hell of a day. Great day for Stewart Haas Racing. Way to go, Ryan Newman, baby! Way to go, race team! It's awesome, guys. I appreciate the hell out of it.
That's how it went in the first of this year's NASCAR Sprint Cup Series races here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Ryan Newman and Tony Stewart finishing 1-2 in the race after qualifying 1-2 and starting on the front row. We'll see how that qualifying thing turns out here in just a little while as both Newman and Stewart are getting set to head out onto the racetrack. Let's go down to pit road. Here's Jamie Little.
Well, Alan, we talk about the importance of qualifying well here. 55% of the races have been won from a top 10 starting position, and nobody knows how to get the job done better than Ryan Newman. 5 poles here. 2 of them turned into wins. We just saw the most recent one here in July. Now, we've had one practice session today, and that, of course, was a lot of focus on qualifying setup. Ryan Newman, of course, top of the chart. So what does that mean for qualifying? Well, he will roll out last. Now, everybody's watching this guy up here. The guys on the 39 team, not too confident they're going to get their shot, but we're keeping our fingers crossed. Right, Dave Burns?
We are, Jamie. His teammate and team owner, Tony Stewart, back in the tech line right now. He is moving through, scheduled to go out 32nd today. Tony didn't fare so well in qualifying practice this morning. He was 14th on the board. But not to worry. Tony has 2 wins here. He's led over 1,100 laps. And the year that he won the championship, the chase that is, 2005, he won the race here in July. That day, he started 13th. So I think Old Smoke has it covered either way, whether he starts up front or just a few cars back. Alan?
There you go, David. So busy time down to the tech line as they get the rest of the cars through their paces in the inspection line and out onto the grid. I bet I know what they're rehashing.
Yep, going over the rules.
Matt Kenseth, J.J. Yaley. Remember that it was Yaley who was the one who gave assistance to Matt Kenseth on the last lap of the Chicagoland race on Monday afternoon. Kenseth had a great day going. Then the strategy just didn't work out in his favor.
Yeah, they had a great car, plus the pit crew did a fantastic job. Had Matt out front late in the race.
But when he ran dry of gas on the last lap, Yaley pulled in behind and pushed the 17. That's not allowed by the rules. And so Matt was ended up being placed as the first car 1 lap down and went from 4th to 21st on the last lap of the Chicagoland race on Monday.
Well, it's the thought that counts on that one. Intentions were good.
Assistance not requested by the 17 team, by the way. Just done. And didn't end up working out. And probably didn't make much of a difference in the final outcome anyway.
I don't think it would have made any difference because he was still scored the first car 1 lap down. And he didn't get scored for that last lap. But I don't think he could have made it around by himself without assistance. So it would have been the same either way.
So got 45 cars here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway to go through time trials. First of them, remember this is in inverse order of their practice speeds from earlier today. This is T.J. Bell in the 50 car. Lost a good chunk of the practice this morning. Didn't get out on the racetrack for a while. And is going to have to try and find some speed if he's going to crack that top 43.
They're trying to make his first start here in the Cup Series, so he's finding out exactly how difficult this qualifying effort is with these Sprint Cup cars. The last 4 times he's not qualified for the last 4 attempts, so he's looking forward to getting in one of these races. And probably his best chance of getting in would be for it to rain, because he would be one of the cars that would be in the race. Yeah, if it did rain. I don't know that he has the speed. 29.93, it does not look good the first lap.
Watch the bumps. Yeah, that split splitter just scuffing along the pavement there as he went through those bumps where the crossovers are to go through the parts of the road course that goes from inside to outside and back inside in the oval track.
Yeah, that's where you're at your top speed on the racetrack. He picks it up just a little bit, just 29.87 on the second lap. But yeah, that crossover where those bumps are, that makes it very difficult because again, at your high speed, you're getting ready to jump on the brakes, front end bouncing up and down. So and when the back tires hit it, that starts creating a lot of the wheel hop that you can possibly get into the third corner.
So now it's watch and wait for TJ Bell to see if he's going to be able to be in Sunday's race in New Hampshire. Not just wait on the rest of the time trials, but watch the weather too. And probably in his case, hope that it rains. See Mike Bliss being sent out onto the racetrack next. Steve Park was supposed to be the next one out onto the speedway. Bliss driving for Frank Stoddard, New Hampshire native. Former crew chief, had a good deal of success here with Jeff Burton in his time at Roush Racing and winning races at this track.
I think most of the teams will be on sticker tires here, brand new tires, so you can see Mike Bliss trying to scuff those in just a little bit as getting up to speed. And that's one of the hardest part about it. You can quite get those rears scuffed in good enough. You see loose off of turn 4. They are now. At least the right rear is.
I got the answer about why Steve Park didn't roll. Helmut Hahn's device never made it over to the car on the grid.
Waiting on equipment.
He's got it being delivered. Mike Bliss, one of the guys who is in the top 35 in owner points, so he will be in the race on Sunday. This is for starting position for Bliss versus to go or go home.
29.30 in practice. This was a racetrack that I always felt that if you could back up or literally be within a half a tenth of what you ran in practice, that was pretty good because so many times you would go out here, everything's cold about this car and you would lose 2, possibly even 3 tenths, and it's pretty dejecting feeling to get your weekend started off, but he does pick it up on the second lap quite a bit.
Yeah, by about a half a tenth.
It's actually a little quicker than he was in practice.
Oh, I was saying half a tenth, half a second.
Yeah.
All right. So Mike Bliss has got a 29.161 and will be the provisional leader in qualifying. All right. Required equipment in place. Stephen Park driving for Tom Baldwin Racing. This is one of the tribute cars that Tom has done. Tom's background in modified racing in the Northeast.
You can see the Nerf bars, the bumpers, and the headers that look like a modified. All the graphics on the car, I love that. That's cool.
Painted up to look like Old Blue. Len Bowler is one of the legendary team owners of modified racing. 6-time champion team owner with great drivers like Buck Stevens and Fred DeSaro over the years. And I'll fairly say this. The effort on Old Blue in its day was not spent on aesthetics. It was spent on speed.
Where it matters.
And Len from the Massachusetts area, just one of those mechanical geniuses who just found ways to make cars go fast.
Yeah, well, give me a choice as a driver, and I want that one that goes fast and spend the money on speed.
And so this is a tribute by Tom Baldwin to Len Bowler. Steve Park behind the wheel, 4-time winner in modified racing here in New Hampshire.
Locks up that left front just a little bit, right over those bumps we were talking about, getting in turn 3. What happens is that splitter hits the ground. It basically unloads those front tires, and you're under maximum braking, and that left front will just it'll start sliding on you.
Steve says working very hard on a program to be able to run a number of nationwide series races next year.
I'd like to see that happen for Steve. He's a great talent, and he ran into a bump in the road when he got hurt, knocked out of the series for a while, out of the Sprint Cup series.
He's going to have to have all his fingers and toes crossed too, because that speed is probably not going to make it into the show. Have to wait and find out, but Stephen Park is done. Second of 3 cars that have gone early here at New Hampshire.
Losing weight clicked for me when I realized that Weight Watchers Online is for guys. All the guys, they think, do some crunches, that'll just make you thin right away. That just doesn't work. So with Weight Watchers Online, it teaches you about doing the right things when you're eating. There's something called a digital cooler. Grab some beer, maybe some chips, and you can stay on plan. I lost 57 pounds. I pick up a 55-pound weight, and I cannot believe that used to be right here.
Join for free today. Hurry, offer ends October 15th. Weight Watchers Online for men. Finally, losing weight clicks.
At USAA, we believe honor is not exclusive to the military. And commitment is not limited to one's military oath. The same set of values that drive our nation's military are the ones we used to build USAA Bank. From free checking to credit cards to loans, our commitment to the military, veterans, and their families is without equal. Visit us online to learn what makes our bank so different. USAA, we know what it means to serve.
Respect doesn't just come from a name. Respect doesn't just come from a number. Respect isn't about where you come from, where you've been, whether you're old school or whether you're new school. Because when you're racing for fans as hardcore as ours, you don't ask for respect. You take it.
Their stories will touch you.
The equipment's so outdated, I'm afraid that someone's going to get hurt.
And the transformation
We need help. That's my plea.
will amaze you. This fall,
Things like this don't happen to our school.
witness a community come together around 4 high schools in need.
Rise up is coming.
Rise Up is coming. A chance to rebuild, reach out, and rise up. Presented by Real Steel, Tuesday night at 7 on ESPN.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams from Money Mutual, your trusted source to over 60 lenders that can get you up to $1,000 in your checking account by tomorrow. These are tough times, and if you're facing an unexpected car repair bill, a medical emergency, or you just need extra cash to hold you over until payday, then you need to know about Money Mutual, an easy way to get short-term cash fast. So forget about bounced checks, overdraft charges, and late fees.
Need cash tomorrow? Call 1-800-585-CASH today.
Clean water for the village, but there are several villages nearby that could use our new system.
Introducing GoToMeeting with HD Faces. Simple, high-definition group video conferencing that will change the way you work. And perhaps a whole lot more. Visit GoToMeeting.com and sign up for your free 30-day trial.
Back in New Hampshire, Robbie Gordon has just finished his qualifying lap in the 7 car, former New Hampshire winner. Just rolling back into the garage area. Robbie right now the fastest of those who have gone. And down into the 28-second bracket, 28.997 for Robbie. Here's Andy Lally, who said after today's practice sessions, it was a struggle.
Hey, he's still struggling. This is, looks like he's got his hands full of that car.
Andy going to be in the race, top 35 in older points for 71 teams, so he's going to be in the race. Question is, where's he going to be starting? Look at that car, boy.
Yeah, he's got a lot of issues there. I think it's bouncing all over the place. It's really, really stiff. Yeah. Oh, gets it into the wall.
Well,
and does pick it up a notch there on lap number 2, 29.
I think fair to say struggle continued.
Eventful.
For Andy Lally, 29.57 and third out of 5 so far. Dave?
With Matt Kenseth now, who is not that great in practice qualifying. What do you expect out of your car when it rolls out here, Matt?
Probably about the same as practice. I mean, you always hope for improvements, hope you can make your car a little better than the last mock-up run, but it just seemed to be about what we had for speed. So hopefully it'll be a little better.
Okay, Matt on the mile and just a few cars out, guys.
All right, Dave, thanks. So we'll keep an eye on Matt Kenseth when he gets out in a little while. And as he continues to wait for his car to show up. Didn't we see Jimmy Fennick back in the inspection area there a little while ago?
Yes, he still got a little time.
Yeah. All always, keep your eye on the race cars.
Whoa! That was pretty tough, though.
Rule number 1 at the racetrack, never turn your back on the race car. Here's Josh Wise. Aboard the 37 here at New Hampshire this week. Made his debut in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Monday at Chicagoland. It's one of the early departures from the race. Robbie Gordon has locked himself into the field by his run a minute ago. TJ Bell would be the guy on the bubble. And Josh Wise is going to lock himself into the field with that lap.
Well, really good job. That car looks like it's pretty loose, especially as he gets to the center of the corner and tries to start his exit.
Josh, one of those guys who's just been on the edge of getting the break he needs. He's gotten some rides in that 7 car for Dale Jr.'s team in the Nationwide Series, but just hasn't found that. And before that, he was with Michael Waltrip Racing. Just hasn't found that place where he can get his breakthrough.
He picks it up on the second lap there, you can see. About 2.5 tenths. He's got a lot of talent, and I think if Josh could ever find himself in a good position to get there for a while, he could show what he could do.
Tony Stewart went for broke, taking the first checkered of the chase. Heading into New Hampshire, can Smoke rise above points leader Kevin Harvick? The Sylvania 300 at New Hampshire, Sunday at 1 Eastern on ESPN.
LSU's championship caliber defense faces their second straight road test as they take on 16th ranked West Virginia. Saturday Night Football, LSU West Virginia, Saturday at 8 on ABC. College football lives here.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Small space, meet big power. The Craftsman Compact Right-Angle Impact Driver. Over 3,000 impacts per minute for powerful torque on the toughest projects in the tightest spaces. Craftsman, trust in your hands.
When a job calls for more muscle than a drill, Craftsman impact drivers answer the call, delivering over 3,000 impacts per minute, giving you greater torque for greater force to power through the toughest jobs. Craftsman, trust in your hands.
What does it take to be a top-rated pit crew? Your 40-hour work week, you can go ahead and throw it in the garbage.
5-hour energy is part of the team because it helps keep us going.
You can do a 5-hour shot and be good to go for the whole race.
Coffee just doesn't cut it.
There are a few teams that do go after the 5-hour energy inside the truck. We try to keep them away.
You know, they see the edge that it gives us, and they want the same thing.
This is going to war.
5-hour energy. What's driving you? You know those lucky dogs who have that perfect amount of gray hair that everyone loves? Now you can be one of them. Touch of Gray combs away a little gray without getting rid of it all. Touch of Gray. Get the best of both.
It kills everything. America's top critics are raving about one of the best films of the year.
It's mutated.
What are you talking about? What happened to it? Contagion, rated PG-13, now playing in theaters and IMAX.
Live qualifying for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Setting up for race number 2 in the chase for the Sprint Cup Sunday 1 Eastern. ESPN, Joe Nemechek, the 8th driver to head out onto the racetrack. Marcus Ambrose just finished his qualifying lap and rolled back into the garage, and he is your new fast man.
Yeah, second lap, 28.73. Nice pickup on the second lap, so picked it up from practice.
And now it is former New Hampshire winner, Joe Nemechek. A lot of milestones in Joe's career tied to this racetrack, right? That epic race he had against Dale Earnhardt Sr. in the Nationwide Series that really put his name on the map. Got his first career Sprint Cup Series start here, his first career Sprint Cup Series win here.
Joe's good at this track. He drove for me for a couple of years, and we finished second up here in one of those years. Had a chance to beat Tony Stewart. He ended up getting us at the end, but Joe's really good here.
Good enough to lock himself into Sunday's field.
Joe's done a lot this year with a little, I'll tell you that. He's made all these races and running the Nationwide Series. Not been easy, but he's made it work.
Of the drivers not in the top 35, or of the drivers in cars not in the top 35 in owner points, you have to be faster than 2 today to make the race. Joe has done that. And jumps up to 3rd quickest with that 2nd lap. Dave is down on pit road. Dave?
With J.J. Yaley, he's getting ready to qualify the 38 car. And, of course, Alan, he was in the middle of all that last lap, gas gone, pushing a friend to the victory lane, or actually the start-finish line with Matt Kenseth. Have we heard it all correctly, or have we not heard everything about the story so far, J.J.?
I don't know that you've heard all about the story. You know, when we were coming to the white flag there, and I was 3 laps down after blowing a tire, and I could see the leaders coming up on me. I got out of the road as Matt was coming to me, and I could tell that he ran out of fuel. You know, as we came off of turn 2, I was, you know, my full intention was to push him, and just before I got behind him, he was waving frantically, giving me a push. So, you know, at that time, it was, you know, get him to the start-finish line as fast as I could, and, you know, obviously it didn't work out well for his 8th place finish and NASCAR taking that from him. But, you know, I was talking with Matt just a little bit ago, and, you know, he felt he had lost so much speed. You know, by the time he got back to start-finish line, he probably would end up in the same spot that he was penalized. So, you know, I don't think it hurt them nearly as bad as everyone wanted to make it out to be. But, you know, because there was a rule infraction, NASCAR had to step up. It made a bigger deal out of something that really wasn't that big a deal. So it's all in the past.
And one thing for sure, Jamie, we know JJ knows his rule book just a little bit better this week, and no matter how much they plead and beg, he's not pushing them next time.
That's right. We won't be seeing that again. But Marcus Ambrose, well, top of the board right now, but you guys were only 39th in practice. We expected you guys to be a little bit better considering the last run here.
Yeah, today's been a nightmare, I've got to be honest with you. It's one of those surreal moments where we've just struggled off the track, and we had a step forward there in qualifying. It won't hold up. You know, hopefully it'll be a top 20 starting spot for us, but just proud of my DeWalt team for sticking by me and getting through today. I mean, we had a pretty horrific practice, and it's just good to rebound with a decent qualifying run.
All right. He's still got a smile on his face, though, Alan.
Jamie, thanks. We've heard some words today that we don't normally hear in racing coverage. That was horrific. What were the ones that Jimmy Johnson was using earlier in the practice show?
What was it?
Give us a minute. We'll come up with it.
There was some good ones. I can't remember, but they were good.
Almost all of us in here are over 50 now, so we have a hard time remembering some things.
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost.
Check with us tomorrow.
Casey Mears, 3rd fastest. 29.010. Why do I feel like a bus just backed up over me? I'm not sure. Change of subjects. How about college football? ABC Saturday night. Les Miles and the number 2 LSU Tigers facing their 3rd-ranked opponent in hostile territory already this season. And they go to Morgantown to take on number 16 West Virginia. It's LSU West Virginia Saturday night football presented by Southwest Airlines, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ABC.
West Virginia might feel like bus backed over them after that LSU defense gets finished with them.
You're liking LSU on Saturday night, are you?
It is a good defense, so we'll see. Tough place to play, though.
Yes, it is.
That's why they play the games.
Yes, it is. Here's Scott Speed out of the racetrack. On the bubble is still TJ Bell. Scott, one of the drivers that has to make the field on time. And well, we got 5 of them left, so 5 more shots at Stephen Park and TJ Bell, who sit in the bottom 2 positions for the cars that have to make it on speed.
If he can back up what he did in practice, that will be good enough to get him in here. So in a good starting spot. I mean, you want to pick up, but it's just so difficult to make all of that happen.
Well, hands busy there.
Yeah, these first laps are just, I mean, it really, I keep saying how difficult it is, and I think you see it with the drivers, and especially, obviously, these teams, and Scott Speed will run fast enough on that first lap to get him in, but you see them working. Obviously, there's a reason their cars aren't quite as fast or weren't in practice because they weren't driving all that good, and then you have to go give it everything you have for 2 laps.
Yeah. Whoop. Left front, little lock up there on braking.
You try to go for that little bit extra, just a little bit, and it can cost you. Yeah, and he might have driven it to the same place, but probably on that second lap, he got a little more bite over in turns 1 and 2, got a better run off the corner, so he's carrying a little bit more speed, and that's all that it takes. He turned his green light on, though. He'll start. Makes the race with that lap.
That is the good news for Scott Speed. He's 7th out of 10 so far, but again, will be in Sunday's race. The Dave and Dave show, is that what I hear?
It would be Alan. David Reagan joining me now. He's kind of back in that group of Roush drivers that didn't fare so well in practice. So what was going on with your race car?
You know, I think it's okay. We're all afraid of a little bit of rain tomorrow. So Drew and our team, our UPS team, we made a decision that we would just do a couple of quick qualifying runs and then try to spend some extra time in race trim just to try to get our UPS Ford comfortable for Sundays. So, you know, we'll see how it qualifies here. I'm going to drive it as hard as I can. Hope it sticks. Drew said that it's going to be good. But this is one of our toughest tracks. We always race a lot better than we qualify on Fridays. So if we can get a good solid lap, top 10, top 15 would be okay.
Good luck. Thanks, David. Alan?
Dave, I want to know,
yes.
How do you get sunglasses to stick on the back of your head like that?
Hey, D, Alan wants to know how you get your sunglasses to stay back there. He wants to look equally cool to you.
You know, my head must be a little small because they kind of fall down. And I had my Wiley X's on earlier, but then it's kind of cloudy and overcast, and I didn't want to look like a fool wearing sunglasses when the sun wasn't out. So I put them on the back. I got eyes out of the back of my head. I'm looking front and back.
That's what it is, Alan.
He managed to turn that into a sponsor plug.
He did. I was going to tell Dave he should get a little bit of commission there. Tell Mr. Reagan he owes you a little bit there, Dave.
I just want to know how you get a pair of sunglasses to stay on your head like that. I don't know. David Stremme.
He's going to race on Sunday also.
Not only that, but he had a good shot at turning one of the fastest laps here. That's going to put David second fastest out of 11 that have gone so far. Lots of big heavy hitters still to come, including Kyle Busch beginning to walk to the grid.
Within your home, you do so much, and so do we. We're Johns Manville, the only complete line of certified formaldehyde-free home insulation, improving indoor air quality by reducing exposure to formaldehyde. Johns Manville, better living from the inside out.
It's our annual Dealerama.
Show me the Carfax.
Yeah, show me the Carfax.
But it's Dealerama.
Before you buy a used car, get a Carfax report. Ask your dealer or go to Carfax.com. Just say, show me the Carfax.
Some have said that deep within the blackest seas exists a beast named the Kraken. Those people, of course.
Oh dear!
Have never been seen again. The Kraken Black Spiced Rum. Release the Kraken.
A new Xbox 360 controller, Gears of War 3, some Slim Jims, and a welcome home banner.
Yeah, I'm ready to play Gears 3. Been playing it. I don't see you online. Are you afraid to face me with my Vulcan chain gun?
I'm not scared, I'm just...
Terrified? How'd you get into my house? You said I bet I can beat you home with the game. I meant your home. Why would we go to my home? Your fridge is stocked.
Rated M for mature. Get Gears of War 3. The fastest way to play is Walmart.
Create and connect with the new BlackBerry Bold.
Hey guys, the reviews are in on Cars.com.
Really? What'd they say?
Well, let's see. It says Sheila looks great, topless.
What's so funny?
Nothing.
Nothing.
And it says here Hank's a real gas guzzler.
You hear that, Hank?
Whatever.
Hey, what about me?
It says your ride is very smooth.
Aw, yeah. Hear that, Sheila?
Never gonna happen.
With consumer and expert reviews, confidence comes standard.
See? Just like the review said. Big rear end.
Excuse me?
Hey fans, customize my gear. My gear. My gear. My gear. Only at the NASCAR.com Superstore.
Landon Castle on the clocks in NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying. New Hampshire Motor Speedway setting the grid for chase race number 2, Sunday 1 Eastern ESPN. Marcus Ambrose currently top of the stack in qualifying. We've run 12 of 45 cars. You will see the order thus far across the top of the screen. And for Landon, that's not a bad lap.
It's the best first lap that we've seen.
28.91 for Landon.
So far, all 12 drivers before Landon as he locks up the front tires just a little bit. Get a good run off this corner. He can knock Marcus Ambrose off the pole. Everybody else has been faster on their second lap. Not quite.
A little bit faster on the second lap, but not fast enough to get the top
Nice shot,
spot.
bud. 91 and a 76. P2 right there, P2.
There you go. Second fastest for Landon Castle. While we were in the break, Michael McDowell ran and locked himself into a spot in Sunday's race. McDowell fourth fastest for the moment in that 66 car, and will be in the field for Sunday. Let's check with Dave.
A lot of Roush Fenway drivers hanging out. Carl Edwards, who is in this weekend's event, and Ricky Stenhouse, who is not. First to you, not that impressive in practice. What do you expect in qualifying?
Just trying to cover up my spot. I missed shaving here. Ricky was nice enough to tell me. He came up, we talked, he said, man, you missed a whole section of your neck right there. So I'm going to have to redo that. But what was the question?
About your car. Because practice was not all that impressive, but I'm not worried about you. Are you worried?
Oh, thanks for bringing up practice again. It was just practice. We're not talking about the game. We're talking about practice.
Thank you, Alan. Iverson.
Practice was no good. I only had one practice qualifying lap, and it went about as well as my shaving did this morning. So we're hoping to get to qualify here. If it rains, we're going to start 24th or something like that. But we've got Scott's Winter Guard on board, so we're taking care of lawns this winter. And we're just hoping that this lap is good. We're hoping that the rain holds off because the starting position here is going to be really important. It's so hard to pass this race.
Kurt Busch has just set the pole time at this point. Ricky Stenhouse, so what are you doing here? Weekend off in the Nationwide Series. What's going on?
I just checked out the Red Sox game on Wednesday and figured I'd stay up here and watch a little bit and trying to help the Red Sox to get that wild card berth. They're struggling a little bit, so hopefully after this weekend they'll be able to get on a roll. But just figured I'd come out here and see if I can learn a few things.
You and Bestwick rooting hard.
I knew I like that young man. New leader in qualifying.
Wow, by a lot. That's the fastest lap of the weekend. After that car struggled big time in practice. They made some great adjustments.
Yes,
Steve Addington and Kirk Busch got together and made something happen here.
And another one of those groups that will be hoping the rest of this qualifying gets run before any possible rain showers hit this speedway.
Yeah, he won't be watching the monitor. He'll be watching the radar.
Yeah.
You can see him look up right then, just hoping that not going to be any raindrops falling here for at least another 40 minutes or so.
Kurt Busch, one of the guys for whom all the people run out of gas on the last lap Monday at Chicago, then worked in his favor. And he actually picked up a few spots at the end of that race on that last lap, and hoping to pick up a good starting spot for Sunday. Long as the weather holds. All right, let the bumping begin. 2 cars left to qualify that are not guaranteed a spot in Sunday's race. Here's one of them. Talked to him a few minutes ago. J.J. Yaley. On the bubble is T.J. Bell. And Yaley on the clock. After Yaley will be Travis Quapple, the last of the cars that must make the field on speed. And beyond T.J. Bell, it is Steve Clark again, who is hanging out there without a locked-in spot in the race.
So JJ's not going to have any problem getting in. Nice lap. 29.03 on that first.
And again, with unanimously so far, the second lap being the faster of the two. So T.J. Bell bumped from the field. It's it's got to be weird. You go to a place like Chicago where when they qualify, they're barely blip out of the gas in the corners. And it must seem from behind the wheel like you're out of the throttle forever when you go to these corners.
Yeah, and you're really wanting to get back to it, and you're hoping that your car will get to that point. But one of the worst things that you can do is try to pick the throttle up too soon here. If your car hasn't rotated, then you find yourself outside the groove and not able to get wide open in the gas. As J.J. Yelly picked it up on the second lap, so he was able to do things pretty well in both of those, but 28.80.
He is fourth fastest for the moment and locked in to Sunday's race. Remind you that coming up on ESPN2, the AAA Texas NHRA Fall Nationals qualifying Saturday late night. Then it is the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series in the Sylvania 300 from here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Coverage beginning on ESPN Sunday at 1 Eastern. The finals of the NHRA AAA Texas Fall Nationals is Sunday night, 7 Eastern, ESPN2. That's the motorsports calendar for this weekend on the ESPN networks. So the bumping will finish here. Steve Park on the bubble, Travis Kvapil on the clock.
Oh, that's not good there. I mean, do that. He had plenty of room as far as what he's going to run. I still think he has plenty of room to make it into the field, but
Definitely overdrove it right there. I think that can flat spot. It probably did flat spot that left front tire.
So you could literally say he smoked it on off into the corner?
I think he did.
It was still fast enough to bump Steve Park and guarantee himself a spot in the race.
Let's see if that left front finds that flat spot getting in here. Nope, a little easier.
So maybe not all it could have been, but mission accomplished for Travis Kvapil. His first lap will be the faster of the two. Smoking it into the corner or not,
he will have the distinction. The only driver so far not to pick up on the second lap.
Yeah. 9th overall for Travis Kvapil. Here we go.
This might be the reason he didn't pick up on the second lap. I hurt that left front tire a little bit.
Yeah, it makes it angry. Yeah, it doesn't cooperate quite as much after that.
Well, Kvapil slots in 9th behind Kurt Busch, who is the leader at the moment, Jamie.
He is the leader right now, but Steve Addington came on the radio and apologized for missing the setup. I know it's been a busy day. Where are you guys lacking right now?
New car blues. We're really just struggling to find the front end, the settle point. We're either dragging the splitter or it's 5 feet off the ground, literally. It's just been a weird day with travels, new car, and we just had to go the cold turkey at it. We threw the July qualifying setup at it. Ran at 28:30 in July, ran at 28:30 again. I just don't know where that's going to put us.
All right, Kurt Busch, he's had a busy week, and it continues here at New Hampshire.
Okay, Jamie, thanks. Kurt leading in qualifying right now. Here is the second of Tom Baldwin's two cars. Dave Blaney behind the wheel, and the orange color of this car, also one of those modified tributes. This is the king of modified racing and the man who goes into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in its third class, Richie Evans. As the story goes, this color orange, Evans was scrapping together things for his modifieds, and one of his buddies happened to work for the state transportation department in the area, and that was the color orange they happened to have laying around, and a little bit of that paint made its way to Richie's shop. And that became the color that we now, in racing, at least up in these parts anyway, know as Evans Orange.
Dave Blaney put it to good use there. 5th fastest so far, but yeah, that was a color that's familiar. You could hear it there. We heard Joe Nemechek, I think it was earlier, one of the first cars to really kind of get on the chip. Some drivers will use that as a backing off point down into turn 3, as we've seen others overdrive it a little bit too much.
Second lap, second fastest for Dave Blaney, behind Kurt Busch, with 17 of 45 drivers having made their runs in qualifying at New Hampshire. Dale Earnhardt Jr. among those still getting ready to go.
With gout, high uric acid can lead to more attacks. If you have gout and struggle with high uric acid, there may be something that can help. Uloric reduces the amount of uric acid your body produces, which can help you reach a healthy level. Uloric lowers uric acid levels in adults with gout. It's not for the treatment of high uric acid without a history of gout.
Don't take Uloric if you are taking azathioprine or mercaptopurine. Gout may flare when starting Uloric. Don't stop taking it. Your doctor may give you other medicines to help prevent flares. A small number of heart attacks, strokes, and heart-related deaths were seen in studies. It's not certain Uloric caused them. Certain tests to check liver function may be required. Tell your doctor about liver or kidney problems or history of heart disease or stroke. The most common side effects are liver problems, nausea, gout flares, joint pain, and rash.
If you have gout and struggle with high uric acid, ask your doctor how Uloric may help.
Saturday, undefeated Big 12 title contenders Oklahoma State and Texas A&M, 3:30 on ABC or ESPN2. Plus ACC title contenders Florida State and Clemson on ESPN. College football lives here.
So you've always wanted to learn a new language, and now you can with Rosetta Stone. Now enriched with new tools to make learning a language even easier. Introducing Rosetta Stone Totale. And you can try Rosetta Stone absolutely free. Just call now for your free CD demo. Rosetta Stone makes it fast and fun to learn a new language correctly and confidently.
现在我会说国语啊. Now I speak Mandarin.
Thanks to Rosetta Stone, I can now speak Japanese with my parents.
Rosetta Stone has helped millions of people learn a new language. And new Rosetta Stone Totale gives you online access to sessions with native speakers, games you can play online, even a mobile app that lets you practice anywhere. Call for your free demo CD now or visit rosettastone.com and get started learning a new language free.
Call 1-800-282-0093 for your free Rosetta Stone demo CD with no obligation. That's 1-800-282-0093. 1-800-282-0093. Call now.
Drivers making their way to the grid for their qualifying run. Kevin Harvick signing some autographs on his way from the Sprint Cup garage to find that number 29 car. We'll see him on the track in a little while. David Reagan is on the track now in the 6 car. Assuming he removed those sunglasses from the back of his head when he put his helmet on. And first lap for Reagan is 12th fastest with another to go. Jack Roush looking on. That engine screen.
Ran 28.86 in practice. Chance pickup will get him back to that here. I think it might be a little bit better than that.
Third fastest for David Reagan, 28.66. You were looking for 2/10. He gave you 4.
Gotta like that in a driver.
While we were away in the break, David Gilliland made his qualifying lap. David climbing out of that 34 car back in the garage. Gilliland is 7th out of 19 at the moment. And you see his times and speeds. Denny Hamlin getting ready to go in a little bit, Dave.
He is, and we'll talk to Denny about the qualifying here at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. What's the most difficult part on this flat 1 mile, Denny?
Well, I mean, it's so close to you're being on the edge all the way around the racetrack. It's a fine line between carrying too much speed on corner entry to where when you get to the center, you got to be running a certain speed or else the tires won't take it. So it's trying to find that balance of grip versus expectations.
Everything's a balance in NASCAR, guys.
Who was it we heard that phrase from a little while back? Expectation of grip. Isn't that Jimmy Johnson?
Jimmy
maybe?
Johnson, yes.
Yeah. Let's see what kind of
Carl needs some grip.
Carl Edwards has.
You know, we talked last week about Chicago being one of those momentum tracks. Don't back off the gas a lot, carry a lot of speed. This track is an acceleration track. You have a fairly low minimum speed in the middle of the corner, and you got pretty high speeds on the straightaway. So you got to hook that up. You've got to get the rear tires to hook it up, and then you got to get the front tires at the minimum speed to hook up so it can rotate and turn in the center. That's one of the reasons it's just it's a very, very difficult track to get a hold of. Yeah, good first lap for Carl, up 4th, 28.68.
Go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, and looking at the stats, you're really surprised to see Carl's finishes not be better. He has 2 top 5s in his races here, but no other finishes in the top 10.
Yeah, we talked about guys who need a good run this week. Well, Carl, not because anything went significantly wrong at Chicagoland, but just because this type of track hasn't been their best.
Yeah, and you talk to Carl, and it's the flatter racetracks that give him problems. This track, he talks about how Martinsville gives him problems everywhere he goes. So just a good, solid effort. You know, it won't take a win or even a top 5, but if they could come out of here with a good, solid top 10 and a good day, I think they would be pretty happy.
Carl third in the championship, 10 points off the lead as we start chase race number 2. Here is his Roush Fenway Racing teammate, Matt Kenseth. We talked with Matt earlier. And ditto, this hasn't been the best style of racetrack for Matt and for the Roush Fenway team. So he could use some good track position to start the day.
Yeah, for sure. In the last 7 races up here, their best finish is a 17th in those 7 races. So they definitely are looking to improve on that.
And of course, after having such a great run all Monday long at Chicagoland, losing all those positions in the last lap when they ran out of fuel, they've got some ground to make up. Whereas they wanted to get out of Chicagoland with a good finish and maybe just try and play to a draw here. Now they've got to try and find a way to gain some ground here. 7th fastest on his first lap. Second lap's been the better of them for all but one driver so far.
So Matt's lap tracking definitely quicker than the first. See the gap between the lines. Tracking 4th as it comes off of turn 4.
And just the slightest of pickups for Matt on the second lap. 5th so far for Matt Kenseth at a 28.71. With a lot of guys still to go. Well, he talked about Travis Kvapil smoking it off into turn 3 a little while ago, and Andy was talking about flat spotting that left front tire. Right there when he locked it up and carried it into the corner. Tim Brewer over in our Craftsman Tech Garage can show us more on a flat-spotted tire and what it does.
Thanks, AB. When the guys get off in the corner and get really aggressive with the brake pedal, look how light the gauge is on this tire. Literally just a few 30 seconds of rubber on it. But when that stalls that tire, what happens? You literally grind through the rubber and you get into the cords of the tire. What's going to happen? You're going to have a tremendous vibration that the driver can't stand for very many laps. But the worst thing, you're going to blow the tire out if you have to go very far on it. AB?
You having air in that tire is kind of an important thing.
Yeah. Seems to work better. Even though they don't put a lot in the left side tires to start with, still good to have some.
Yes, sir. Bottom of the body on track.
He had a little bit of smoke out of his left front. Didn't lock it up, but he definitely slowed it up a little slower than the car was going.
Good lap right here.
Second fastest on his first lap. And again, remember, lap 2 has been quicker for most everybody.
Yeah, that's just 400ths off what Kurt Busch ran on his first lap. He was able to pick it up. About 1300ths on the second lap was Kurt Busch.
Look at that tracker.
Bobby can do.
It's close.
He's
going in the right direction. Oop, going in the wrong direction.
Yeah, just a little late getting back to the throttle. Carried a lot of speed into 3, trying to let the car roll, but that cost him picking the throttle up and getting off. But still a good effort. Picks it up just a little bit.
28.46 for Bobby Labonte sends him to second behind Kurt Busch. Still 23 drivers to go in qualifying, and according to practice speeds, they get faster as we roll.
Their stories will touch you.
The equipment's so outdated, I'm afraid that someone's going to get hurt.
And the transformation
We need help. That's my plea.
will amaze you. This fall,
Things like this don't happen to our school.
witness a community come together around 4 high schools in need.
Rise Up is coming. Rise Up is coming.
A chance to rebuild, reach out, and rise up. Presented by Real Steel, Tuesday night at 7 on ESPN.
Now at Best Western, stay 2 separate times and earn double rewards. It should be easy. They're the biggest hotel family in the world.
You see, with 3 types, you can always find the one that's right for your trip.
And since each hotel is independently owned, there will always be someone there who cares and rewards you for your loyalty. Best Western, the world's biggest hotel family.
Live NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying. New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Kyle Busch on the track, completing the first of his 2 laps. One of the drivers that needs a good bounce-back day on Sunday after struggles Monday at Chicagoland. Third fastest on lap 1 for Kyle.
Yes, he made a good corner in 1 and 2. I think this is where his brother was really good on that second lap and posting our fastest time so far.
It's going to be close.
In the 30s.
0.05 of a second separate the Busch brothers.
Just to give an idea, back in July when Ryan Newman won the pole,
39.82. Nice pickup, thank you, bud.
That's what he ran. So these drivers are just a little over a tenth, and our Kurt Busch a little over a tenth and a half from that.
David Rogers writing the numbers down. Kyle Busch is qualified second fastest so far. Still a lot of cars left to go, though, in qualifying in New Hampshire.
Engines are tuned. So are Mobil 1 motor oils. Tuned for blistering performance. Tuned for everyday extremes. And with Mobil 1 Extended Performance, tuned to keep your engine running like new for up to 15,000 miles between oil changes. Mobil 1 Extended Performance, from the motor oil brand designed to keep your engine running like new.
I can't believe I'm here with my fantasy football pick, Reggie Bush.
I can't believe any Pizza Hut pizza is now just $10.
It's like we're both having a fantasy.
That's kind of weird.
Our $10 any deal is back. Delivery, carry out, or dine in, only $10 and only at your Pizza Hut.
Small space, meet big power. The Craftsman Compact Right Angle Impact Driver. Over 3,000 impacts per minute for powerful torque on the toughest projects in the tightest spaces. Craftsman, trust in your hands.
When a job calls for more muscle than a drill, Craftsman impact drivers answer the call, delivering over 3,000 impacts per minute, giving you greater torque for greater force to power through the toughest jobs. Craftsman, trust in your hands.
What makes Dove Men Plus Care different from other deodorants? Only Dove Men Plus Care combines 48-hour protection with our caring 1/4 moisturizer technology in a non-irritant formula. New Dove Men Plus Care deodorant. Tough on sweat, not on skin.
There's a new team in the garage. NASCAR and the American farmer are working together to introduce American ethanol, a renewable energy solution that is the right choice for the future of our sport, our country, and our planet. It's a brand new race day.
Jamie McMurray rolling back into the garage after having finished his qualifying effort. 6th fastest so far. An effort that is going to be disappointing to McMurray. We'll talk more about it in just a second. On the track, live, is Joey Logano. Former New Hampshire winner, New England native. Had an excellent run here in the July race. Wound up finishing in the top 5. He's got some work left to do.
Yeah, 28.76, but you know we've seen anywhere from 2 to 4 tenths picked up on the second lap. This isn't going to be near the 4/10 pickup, but
I'm gonna use the term discipline. It takes a lot of discipline to not overdrive and to let that thing roll like you need to here. It just stands out so much when there's just one car at a time out there and you're hearing how long they're off the gas and when they get back into it and so on. That'll be 6th fastest for Logano for now at a 28.61. Bobby Labonte has the 3rd fastest lap so far, Jamie.
And he got out of the car kind of laughing and shaking his head. Why?
We picked up a little bit more than I expected it to. I didn't think it felt that good. These guys worked real hard today. We didn't have a good race trim package right away. We got it a lot better in our qualifying trim. We struggled at it. We made some changes hoping that we'd get to run. Didn't know what the weather was going to do, so we kind of threw something at it. And it was definitely better mid-corner exit. So I was pretty happy about that. So our Busch's Beans Toyota Camry, I'm kind of hoping. I don't think I want it to rain. I'm not sure. We were like 24th in practice. It probably ended about the same. Usually does. So, but anyway, at least I got that lap in. That might tell me something more for Sunday if we don't get rain practice tomorrow.
All right. Well, they figured it out here 2 months ago. They finished 7th, Alan.
Sure did, and hoping for similar results on this Sunday. Just joining us, weather is in the area. In fact, if you look at the radar, it's raining here now. It's just not raining.
So then we won't look at the radar.
We'll look at the weather rock outside the window. It's dry. Dale Jr. on the track. Pretty good first lap.
Yeah, excellent first lap. 28:58. Get another. Yeah, he's 10th and a half or something like that. He's on it right here. He's getting it up against the chip, getting into 3. Going green, throttle hard here. Car's turning good. To get a good bite if he's going to do it. He's going to come up a little short.
Yep, slipping the other way.
Still a good lap, a 42. 8:42 for Dale Jr.
Good job, bud. Great job. 58 on lap 1 and a 42 on lap 2. Get your P3 right now. Nice pickup, man.
That will leave Dale Jr. third out of 26 that have gone so far. By the way, chase races here at New Hampshire, Dale Jr.'s got more top 5s than anybody.
That's encouraging. Yeah, and heard him talk some this week. He was excited about coming here after the good run that they had last weekend in getting that third place in. So a little momentum for this team.
And hopefully a good starting spot for them on Sunday. Still got 19 cars to go. Kyle Busch is back in the garage.
And he's second right now. And Kyle, in practice, you didn't seem too thrilled with the way the car was handling. Any better indication here through qualifying?
A little bit. Certainly we got some speed, so that feels good. But, the guys worked really hard about trying to figure out something that'll help me here at Loudon and feel better about it. So that's good. I don't know where it's going to stack up, though. Certainly there's a lot of good cars left. And, the track, I don't think the track's going to change a whole lot. I think it is what it is. But, certainly it's a lot different than what it was in the spring. So times are indicative to track conditions. We'll see. But feel good about the M&M's Camry. And, would like to get on track again tomorrow and fine-tune more of what we just changed.
Think it's going to rain?
I'm not a weatherman, but...
Do you want it to rain?
I don't know. No, I think we're going to qualify a lot better now with that time than if it doesn't rain with our practice time. So if it doesn't rain, I'll be happy with that.
All right, he's happy right now, sitting second. Alan?
Jamie, thanks. Denny Hamlin. He's probably going to be disappointed with that.
Yeah, he is. That's only 11th fastest so far, and there's a lot of good cars to go. He needed a little better run than that. He might be disappointed at that, but looking at his stat, he's run 11 races here, and he's finished every lap of every race here. So he's been on the lead lap every time. So pretty stellar when it comes to the racing part here.
11th for Hamlin with 18 cars to go that all turned faster practice laps than he did. We'll see. Dave?
Championship leader Kevin Harvick. And in practice today, Kevin, listening to you, not so great in race trim. It seemed like when you guys went to qualifying trim, woke the car way up.
Yeah, I think we just had a bad set of tires there. A lot of the same things in our teammates' cars. And as soon as we changed the tires, the car drove really good. So we'll just go off of what the 33 and the 31 and those guys did and put that in there. We'll be fine.
Are you fairly optimistic for your qualifying run? Optimistic?
I don't know if I'm ever optimistic about qualifying, but the car did drive good today. So hopefully our Budweiser Chevrolet does the same thing and I don't screw it up.
You can be optimistic about the points, though, Alan, right?
Yeah.
He leads, baby.
There you go. Started 30th, finished second at Chicagoland on Monday, but this is not a racetrack where you're likely to get away with that here in New Hampshire.
It definitely makes it more of a challenge if you start back and have to pass a lot of cars. You play some strategy.
Regan Smith, first lap, 10th fastest. Had a good race effort going here in July. Was one of the guys that the fuel tank ran dry on in the final laps.
Qualify 11th for that race.
Not bad. Jumps him up to 5th.
That pretty much matches what was the fastest time in practice earlier today. Everybody stepped it up a little bit, and one of the guys that stepped it up is third right now, Jimmy.
And that would be Dale Earnhardt Jr. And in practice, I'll tell you, they made one change, and you wanted to leave the car alone, Junior. How good is this race car behind us?
Well, we were pretty happy with it in race trim, and I didn't want to get too crazy with the changes. And we went into qualifying trim because we need to improve there pretty badly to have a shot at staying competitive in the chase. And we were struggling a little bit, but we got a good lap in there. I'm pretty happy with that result compared to where we were in practice. I'm not sure where it'll end up, but about 3/10 of the second pickup for us, so we're pretty happy about that.
All right, they've made it very clear they want to qualify better, and we'll see where he ends up. Third right now for Dale Jr.
Jamie, thanks. As we watch Brian Vickers, back to that same story, track position. Got to have it, and you really can't get away many times with starting deep in the field. See what the sheriff does here.
Fastest first lap anybody's put down, 28.476. That's exactly what Regan Smith just ran.
And he's tracking close to Kurt Busch.
See some green. Got down into the third corner hard. Can he get back to the throttle and keep this up? It's like,
oh, it's going to be close.
Hold up, though.
Yeah. New leader in qualifying. Brian Vickers goes to the top of the board. Still got 16 cars to go, but Vickers is atop the leaderboard for the moment here in New Hampshire.
LSU's championship caliber defense faces their second straight road test as they take on 16th ranked West Virginia. Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines, LSU West Virginia, Saturday at 8 on ABC. College football lives here.
Losing weight clicked for me when I realized that Weight Watchers Online was for guys too. I'm like, it's not rainbows and lollipops.
After I read this beer cheat sheet, I knew what the difference was between a light beer and a dark beer as far as points go.
I use the grilling cheat sheet. Drag it over onto the grill and it gives you a point value. This is a plan for men.
I lost 109 pounds.
Oh man, you're on Weight Watchers Online. That's funny. And I go, really? I look a lot better than you right now.
Join for free today. Hurry. Offer ends October 15th. Weight Watchers Online for men. Finally, losing weight clicks.
Good news, men use soap. Bad news, men use soap that can really dry their skin. And some have been doing so for over 20 years. So if you think about it, soap has been drying men's skin since breakdancing became totally rad and MacGyver was saving the world with tweezers. Fear not, Dove Men Plus Care is here. It's the bar with 1/4 moisturizing cream, so it cleans and leaves skin feeling moisturized. Dove Men Plus Care. Also try Dove Men Plus Care Sensitive Clean Body Wash.
Your car is everything. And for over 30 years, AutoZone has had the parts you can count on and the trusted advice to help you keep it going, whether you're Mr. DIY or a master mechanic. Parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone.
AutoZone.
Check out these seats for this weekend's game.
Scoring your dream tickets is no longer a fantasy. StubHub, where do you want to sit?
Set me free, free from interruptions and slow down.
We're CenturyLink. We're committed to improving lives and linking Americans to what matters most. With honest personal service, 5-year price lock guarantees, consistently fast speeds, and more ways to customize your technology.
The fastest 15 from practice still to come in NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying in New Hampshire. Brad Keselowski on the clocks. Brian Vickers on the pole. That was the first of the 2-time laps for Keselowski.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time coming out of the pits, working his tires in. He had to feel like that he probably wasn't totally up to speed as much as he needed to be. We'll see if this is a big pickup on this second lap.
Talking with crew chief Paul Wolf this morning. This the second time around at this track for that driver crew chief combination. They've been so much better the second time around at so many places.
He's better the second time around the track too. Picks up to 7th quick. So they finished 35th here in the first race. They have to hope they'll
got to go forward somewhere, right? And while we were in the break a minute ago, Martin Truex Jr. ran his qualifying lap. And the 56 car wound up 4th fastest for now. The man who is on the pole is Brian Vickers. Jamie?
He's looking at the fan view, looking at the times there. You said you got all of it. What kind of change did you guys make to this car to make it so quick?
Well, I can't tell you that.
Come on. Friends?
No, the guys did a good job. We kind of started with what we ended with last time that we were fairly happy with, but we made some major adjustments in practice and got the car a lot better. Was happy with it in race trim, but we're still missing something in qualifying, just not quite what we needed through the center and the initial throttle. We made the change we thought we needed in a race trim for qualifying, and it was really good. So really proud of the Red Bull Toyota guys. I think we have a good car. I felt like I got all of it. We'll see if the rain holds off and see what the competitors have.
He did his job, and he did it well. Alan?
Jamie, thanks. Tony Stewart. He's usually up in the first couple of rows of the starting grid somewhere here in New Hampshire, at least the last few years. The winner at Chicagoland on Monday. His first lap, 9th fastest. Is he in range? What do you think?
Well, yeah, I saw him really working the steering wheel there down in 1 and 2. It looked like that cost him a little bit of time. Looked like the car got a little bit loose, and he had to correct it and really chase it up the racetrack. See, the tracker went in the green in between 1 and 2, where he probably carried just a little more speed than the tires wanted to hold.
So that second lap for Stewart will actually be slower than the first, just the second driver out of 32 for which that has been the case. Brian Vickers leads so far, 13 drivers left to go.
I faced one of the toughest challenges of my life right here. I couldn't swim, but I can still hear my drill instructor today. Don't quit. So I jumped in, apprehensive and scared out of my mind, but I came up a Marine.
The few, the proud, the Marines.
That's awesome. You can read that.
The AccuFit digital system, exclusively at LensCrafters, is about 5 times more precise than manual measurement techniques. LensCrafters.
For the worst allergies, I want a product with the best decongestant. My choice is clear, Claritin D.
Nothing works stronger, faster, or longer for allergy congestion relief without drowsiness. Get Claritin D at the pharmacy counter.
Live Claritin Clear.
I don't care just where you go, as long as it's with me.
Membership rewards points from American Express, the social currency.
Clint Boyer will pit next time around.
Clint, you can't pit now.
Who is this?
It's Tommy.
Thought I told you never to call me in here again.
I thought you were kidding. And anyway, look, stay out. I really need a couple more laps led from you today.
Shane's telling me to come in.
Shane? Why would you listen to him?
He's actually my crew chief.
Fine. Pit.
Wait, are you fighting now?
Sign up now for the new NASCAR Fantasy Live on NASCAR.com. The first game ever with live in-race scoring.
Tony Stewart went for broke, taking the first checkered of the chase. Heading into New Hampshire, can Smoke rise above points leader Kevin Harvick? The Sylvania 300 at New Hampshire, Sunday at 1 Eastern on ESPN.
So you've always wanted to learn a new language, and now you can with Rosetta Stone. Now enriched with new tools to make learning a language even easier. Introducing Rosetta Stone Totale. And you can try Rosetta Stone absolutely free. Just call now for your free CD demo. Rosetta Stone makes it fast and fun to learn a new language correctly and confidently.
现在我会说国语啊. Now I speak Mandarin.
Thanks to Rosetta Stone, I can now speak Japanese with my parents.
Rosetta Stone has helped millions of people learn a new language. And new Rosetta Stone Totale gives you online access to sessions with native speakers, games you can play online, even a mobile app that lets you practice anywhere. Call for your free demo CD now or visit rosettastone.com and get started learning a new language free.
Call 1-800-282-0093 for your free Rosetta Stone demo CD with no obligation. That's 1-800-282-0093. 1-800-282-0093. Call now.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying from New Hampshire, A.J. Allmendinger trying to challenge Brian Vickers' place atop the standings for the moment. Not going to be fast enough to get the #1 spot. It will be 7th fastest out of 34 for the Dinger. 11 cars left to go. Greg Biffle just finished his run. He's 2nd fastest, Jamie.
Yes, he is. He came out of the car and he said, I wish I could do it again. What happened on your second lap?
Driver, of course. The car just has so much grip. I'm so glad that I got Matt Pusha and the guys working on this car. A lot of grip down there in turn 2. I just didn't push the gas down, and when I did, I'm like, what was I waiting for? But it's so many times you could be on the other side of that and spin, and then you got to fall back on your first lap, and it's not quite good enough. So got a good car for the race. Excited to have Ford 40 MPG on the car this weekend. So hopefully we'll do them proud and have we got a good starting spot, but I think a lot of these guys might beat us. Track's got a lot of grip.
All right, it's a fast car, and he won here back in 08. Alan?
Thanks, Jamie. Heard from Kevin Harvick earlier. Kevin not willing to place a lot of high hopes on his own performance in qualifying just because it hasn't seemed to have been one of his better things. But that first lap's a pretty solid one.
Yep, that is the fastest first lap so far.
And that second lap's in the green.
Yeah, he's getting it done. Drove it way down in here and get on the rev chip there a little bit.
No, it's going the right way. Not enough time, though.
Not quick enough, though. That's what we're going to see. He locks in fourth there to 28.34. Brian Vickers did a really nice job in his effort from the middle of turn 3, getting off to 4 and back to the start-finish line.
Kevin Harvick, fourth out of 35 so far. That's some good track position to start the day on Sunday. Saturday afternoon, got a big 12 dash for you as the 7th-ranked Oklahoma State Cowboys take on number 8 Texas A&M. You can also see Colorado-Ohio State on ABC or ESPN. Both games available nationally. Or an ACC fight, and a good one, too, between Florida State and Clemson. College football, Saturday. Great matchups.
You hope that's a good one being a Florida State fan, don't you? Going in there to Tigerland.
I do. Tough game to have to come back from when you lose that hard-fought one to number 1 Oklahoma. Here is David Ruderman. By the way, vulnerable. Right? That was one of the words from before?
From Jimmy Johnson earlier today.
And friendly.
Friendly.
Yes.
Describing his car.
New vocabulary for us. Ruderman 16th on his first lap. Needs more. It's funny listening to Greg Biffle talk because you know the way the qualifying order is determined, the reverse of the speeds in practice. In theory, the fastest cars from practice are the latest to go. So when you go out there like Ruderman did and run the 12th fastest lap, or Biffle and run the 2nd fastest lap, you know there's still a dozen cars that in theory are faster than you left to go. And it's hard to be just satisfied.
Yeah, and especially like Biffle was saying that, gosh, he knew, he knows now he could have picked the throttle up a little bit sooner, but then he went on to talk about that other side, that sometimes you think that you have that and you get there a little bit soon and you spin out, and then that first lap was only going to put you, back outside the top 10 somewhere. So I think he still has to be pretty happy with that effort.
Pretty speedy in practice earlier today. Jeff Burton on the clock now.
See, he's pretty well throwing away that first lap. He's weaving down the front straightaway, coming to the green flag. Just trying to get some heat in those tires.
Looks like the rear is leaning a little bit more.
Must have felt something through 3 and 4 on his get up to speed lap that he didn't like.
Well, he knows what to feel here. He's won the most races, 4 races that he's won at this track.
And watching the qualifying, everybody but 2 drivers, the second lap has been the lap. The faster of the 2. So Burton 25th on his first lap. Let's see what he's able to do on the second one. So far,
it's working so far.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a lot better than the first one.
This is probably something that he actually felt in practice earlier today, that he was really going to need to get some heat, knowing that second lap is going to be better. You see the car rotating better here and turning. Can he stay in the gas? Lost a little bit of time right there, though.
Yeah. And just that little bit of time cost you a lot of spots when the field is as tight as this one is shaping up to be.
Yeah, he picked up 3.5 tenths, but that still doesn't get him to the top 10. That'd be the 12th quickest at a 28.51.
With still 8 cars to go. We got 13 1/1000ths between the top 2. And less than a tenth back through the top 4 or so. And Ryan Newman still to come, Dave.
He was a 28.47 in practice, a 28.28 the current pole. Can you get below that?
If you look at the radar,
it's raining here, but it's just barely spitting right now. But I think our car's capable of it based on what everybody's picking up. The track's got some more speed, so Haas Automation Chevrolet, if we can do what we did last time in July, we'll be right there with them.
How many raindrops can you stand and still click off a good lap?
I don't know, but they are picking up as we stand here. Did you feel it? I've got a couple more areas that I can pick it up here and there.
We should stop talking about it, shouldn't we?
No, I don't know. If we get to go, we'll give it our best shot.
Good luck. Ryan Newman, he was quick earlier, Alan. Let's see how Mark Martin does.
Obviously, for Ryan, if it were to rain and they were not able to finish qualifying, he would start on the pole by being fastest in practice earlier today. Mark Martin, 18th fastest on lap 1. Tracking right in that same range for lap 2.
Yeah, he's not going to pick up a lot here on the second lap.
Not much. Mark in at 15th position out of 38. And that is not going to be the track position they were hoping for at the start of Sunday's 300-lap race here.
It's raining slick out here. It's raining.
There's a reason for that.
All right, thoughts of Mark Martin. With 7 cars to go.
And if Mark Martin says it's slick out there, then you need to believe that. And see Boyer slip just a little bit as he went back to the throttle there.
Clint Boyer on the clock. And having a good run at it. And remember, the second lap's been better.
Yeah, he's on pace for this being the best first lap that we've seen. And that's starting to lose a little bit of time right there.
Boyer started second, finished first in this race a year ago.
Hey, it can't be raining too hard for him to be running laps like that.
And that was the quickest first lap of anybody so far.
That's going to be close. Look at that top right. Oh, just lost a little bit there. Coming back the other way, but I don't think it's going to be enough. No. In fact, just that little bit, that 1/10 of a second, is going to keep Clint down in 7th place. Goes back to what we were talking about earlier. The field is just so close.
The competition level is just incredible out here. So many good teams, and you come to places like this where the times are just so close. You see just literally 1/100th of a second separating each spot.
NASCAR contemplating holding qualifying for second, but after watching Clint Boyer said let it roll. So Paul Menard headed out onto the track. We'll come back and see his run.
I can't believe I'm here with my fantasy football pick, Reggie Bush. I can't believe any Pizza Hut pizza is now just $10. It's like we're both having a fantasy. That's kind of weird.
Our $10 any deal is back. Delivery, carryout, or dine-in, only $10 and only at your Pizza Hut.
Within your home, you do so much, and so do we. We're Johns Manville, the only complete line of certified formaldehyde-free home insulation, improving indoor air quality by reducing exposure to formaldehyde. Johns Manville, better living from the inside out.
Small space, meet big power. The Craftsman Compact Right Angle Impact Driver. Over 3,000 impacts per minute for powerful torque on the toughest projects in the tightest spaces. Craftsman, trust in your hands.
When a job calls for more muscle than a drill, Craftsman impact drivers answer the call, delivering over 3,000 impacts per minute, giving you greater torque for greater force to power through the toughest jobs. Craftsman, trust in your hands.
Brought to you by Arid Extra Dry.
5-time world champion relief pitcher Mariano Rivera needs to stay cool and calm under pressure. So, when things get close, he relies on Arid Extra Dry.
Why pay more to sweat less?
Arid Extra Dry, maximum protection, great value price.
You know those lucky dogs with that perfect amount of gray hair that everyone loves? Now you can be one of them. Touch of Gray combs away a little gray without getting rid of it all. Touch of Gray. Get the best of both.
The Cowboys and Aggies meet in a top 10 showdown between undefeated Big 12 title contenders. Saturday, Oklahoma State, Texas A&M, 3:30 on ABC or ESPN2. College football lives here.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our loyal fans for your continued support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.
Paul Menard rolling back into the garage area after running the 10th fastest lap of the qualifying session. 40 drivers out of 45 have made their runs. It's a race against the clock for starting spots in Sunday's race. It's a race against the clock for the approaching rain. And if you looked at the radar picture, it's been raining here for a while, but the track's been dry and we've been qualifying. There's the radar picture. Right now they've held Juan Pablo Montoya, and they're doing a track inspection. With Montoya, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Casey Kane, and Ryan Newman, the 5 drivers left to make their qualifying runs. Dale, put us inside that 42 car. You've been in this position before, I'm sure. You're buckled up, helmets on. You got to go out and make a qualifying run.
Yeah,
and
on a slick racetrack to start with. You know, there's not a lot of grip to begin with. It's a very uncomfortable feeling. You know, you're sitting there and you see these raindrops, as few as there may be, but you know that any moisture on this racetrack can be a problem. So it's nerve-wracking time right now for these drivers. You know, they're sitting there thinking, if it rains this out, I've got a top 5 starting spot. And now I'm going to have to go out here and really unsure kind of what the track is exactly like. You know, you're putting it in the hands of somebody out there riding around in a pace car saying, oh, no, this track's fine, and they're running around out there at 30 miles an hour. So.
Conversation ongoing between the official at the end of the qualifying line and Juan Pablo Montoya. Now, the official going up and talking to the drivers. Montoya saying he's not comfortable going out to qualify in these conditions. You see the conversation there being had with Jimmy Johnson. Now,
that's not comfortable no matter what.
No.
Even if the
they might
track's
ask
dry.
him that whenever if the sun was out. But
now remember that, and I don't want to sound too skeptical, but these guys were the fastest ones in practice.
Yep.
They're going to start up front if qualifying rains out.
Yep.
Yeah, if anybody has anything to gain by qualifying being rained out, it'd be this group right here.
And you know, looking at the radar picture again, according to the radar, it's been raining here for about half an hour. So the track has been dry, and we've successfully completed almost all the qualifying session. But if these 5 aren't able to run,
yeah. And as a driver, I don't want to see any raindrops on my windshield if I'm going to go make this effort. And in particular now, it's not like that we've had drawing for qualifying or anything else, as you pointed out, Alan. This would be our top 5 starters because everyone has to qualify to make this a full event. So I don't think you're going to get the cooperation from any of these drivers until they see no raindrops on their windshield.
I don't think so either. The guy who just came off the racetrack is with Jamie.
And we'll ask him. We're looking at his windshield as we speak, and there are raindrops all over it. Paul, what was that run? 2 laps out there with some raindrops.
It wasn't that bad, but if we would have gone right after 33, we probably would have been fine. We sat for a couple minutes, and the first lap, there's just no grip. The second lap, it felt a lot better, obviously, but track's is just a little bit too wet.
What the officials say to you? We see them going inside the car and talking to you guys and getting your feedback.
They didn't ask me anything. They just said hold, and then they said go. So I probably should have held a little bit longer and just kind of waited out. But, you know, we had a really good car. I would have hoped for a little bit better lap than that, even if it was a little bit wet. But, you know, this is probably my guys.
All right, well, he's top 10 right now, and he started top 10 the last 2 races here, Alan.
Well, we'll see if we're able to get these last 5 cars through the qualifying laps or how this all plays out. But for the moment, in a holding pattern here at New Hampshire, as officials keep an eye on the track conditions and keep an eye on the circumstances before these final 5 drivers run. This was on Jimmy Johnson's radio a minute ago.
So I've never seen this happen before, but the 42 refuses to go, so they came to ask me to go, and I said, I go after the 42, period.
I guess we're on the 5-minute clock then, and we'll wait until we get to that 5 minutes.
That's what I asked him. I said, am I on the clock? And he said, no. So I go after the 42, and from what I understand, the 42 is not on the clock.
Well, the 5-minute clock, if it is your turn in the qualifying line, as you look at Tony Glover from the Ganassi Racing Team, Montoya's team there, talking to Chad Knaus, if your car's not presented at the front of the qualifying line when it's your turn in the order, they start a 5-minute clock. And if you're not there and ready to qualify within those 5 minutes, then you lose your spot in line and don't get to make a run. But this is a little bit different circumstance there because this is weather related.
Yeah, if I'm Jimmy, I would want to see a car qualify right in front of me. That gives me an idea of what the track grip is by the time that he runs. Right now, it's an unknown. He doesn't want to be the guinea pig. And, hey, it's not my turn. That's what he's saying.
Yep.
They're saying if they can find one out of the last 5 here to go, they're going to start the clock.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they're not going to get any takers.
I bet they don't.
Because, again, these guys have nothing to gain at the moment.
No.
They're going to be the top 5 starters in the race if the rest of qualifying rains out. So, very interesting circumstances at the moment. While we wait to see what's going to happen here, remind you that coming up on the ESPN networks over the weekend, you'll see the AAA Texas NHRA Fall Nationals. Qualifying is Saturday late night, and the finals are Sunday at 7 Eastern, both here on ESPN2. And the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, chase race number 2, the Sylvania 300 on ESPN. Coverage starting at 1 Eastern on Sunday from here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. It will be, as Brad Keselowski said earlier, I said I think this is going to be a big weekend. He said I think this is going to be one of the most important races in the chase this Sunday. Brian Vickers is your provisional pole sitter for the moment. But Brian, if this thing gets rained out, is going to end up starting 17th in this race. So he's somebody that wants to see these final 5 go.
So, yeah, here's the other side of it.
Yes.
Now we have a standoff.
I can't believe Kurt Busch is not out there somewhere. Want to know why these 5 cars aren't on the racetrack? Because of all of the ones up there at the front of the field right now, he probably has the most to lose because they did not have a good time in practice. And so they would start,
32nd, right?
Yeah.
Wow. If it doesn't resume, but Kurt right now sitting 3rd in the qualifying order here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. So it's Vickers, Biffle, Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, the top 5 for the moment. There are 5 cars yet to go, and the question is, when do we see those 5 cars out on the racetrack? Weather story for all of the day today. A lot of concern about the crew chiefs as to whether they would get this qualifying session in, so the emphasis to run a fast lap in the practice earlier today was big. Questions about whether the weather will allow them to get their final practices in tomorrow. So getting some race trim practice in earlier today was big also. It's just one of those, well, it's kind of continuing a theme, isn't it, for about the last month and a half, fighting the weather?
It has been. We're tired of it. So let's let it go away. By Sunday, it'll be good, and everybody will be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just, it's no fun in planning around that. I mean, these weekends are very compacted to start with. You have just a limited amount of practice. You want to be able to take advantage of all of that to give it your best effort. And so you're getting some of that taken away. We're having to race on Monday and Tuesdays, making short weeks. Yeah, the drivers can handle a lot of that. The crews are the ones, Andy, that really suffer a lot in making those short weeks happen and getting everything prepared.
Yeah, it just packs everything in. They're trying to get all this, like I said, turn this stuff around. They need to get the cars back, the equipment back, even the uniforms cleaned. There's a lot of things, logistics-wise, that really backs you up to getting into these weekends, and it gets old. This weather gets old.
Yes, good news is that the forecast for Sunday is better, and of course tomorrow they have a jam-packed full race card here at New Hampshire, so they really would like to see all of this stay as much on schedule as possible. I see Dave kneeling by Ryan Newman's window. Dave, is he still forecasting weather?
Well, he doesn't have his helmet on yet, so we thought we'd check it out and see what he thinks of the situation. Another chance to, get some more charity chugs in here. What do you think we should do at this point? It seems like you're in a pretty good spot either way.
Well, I'm in a biased position, obviously, but, it's definitely sprinkling. It's sprinkling enough that there's moisture on the race car. If there's moisture on the race car, there's probably moisture on the racetrack. They haven't fired the jet dryers, so they've made no effort to dry it, because there's more rain coming. So it's just a matter of time, or it's a tough situation because nobody wants to go out there and say, hey, it's dry enough you could go, but nobody wants to say, hey, it's wet enough that it's going to cost these 4 or 5 guys track position, which is extremely important in the chase. So I'm happy. Like I said, I'm in a biased position, but whatever happens.
Glad the practice time was as good as it was. Remember earlier we asked him how many raindrops he could stand? Yeah, go ahead, Eric. Right here we notice there's and here you can just see it's pretty wet down here, Alan.
Yeah, as you were kneeling there by the window interviewing Ryan, Dave, the drops are showing between that camera lens and the roof line of that race car. And that's not what we wanted to see. Juan Pablo Montoya and his team talking about their situation on the radio a minute ago.
They're not happy with us here, buddy. I apologize to them, but don't blame it on me. If you think it's me, send the next car out and we'll put it in 5-minute clock. You know what I mean? I don't want to be the guinea pig and break the car because they think it's dry enough. I'm with you.
Awkward, difficult situation for everybody.
Well, I'm going to say, I'm going to be on Montoya's side. They should have never asked him if they didn't want, you know. What they expect the guy to say? I mean,
all they have to do is tap his fender and say, it's your turn.
Yeah.
Okay? Then he has to go.
And then, you know,
you're going to ask him.
If something happens then they have to live with that. And I'm with Montoya. If I see raindrops, especially, again, at a place like this, you don't need any more challenges than what it already presents.
Yeah. So we sit in this holding pattern for the moment, while Brian Vickers waits to see whether he's going to be potentially no worse than 6th on the starting grid or whether he's going to be a little bit deeper in the field, Jamie.
Yeah, we're not so sure about that, but the news is we have track dryers that are going out there on the track. So that's a good thing, Brian, but what is this moment like? You're going for your first pole of the year.
Yeah, this is, we've had a lot of this year. It doesn't seem like we can get anything to go our way. And you know, we could have been done by now. I guess they said Juan didn't want to go, and if I was guaranteed to start in the top 5, I probably wouldn't either. I mean, his opinion's a bit biased, but I know the 27 was out, and he ran a 46, which is a really good lap. I guess the track was fine for him, so I don't know. It sucks.
When you went, it was totally dry. If you had to go right now, would you go?
Depends on where I'm starting. You know,
there you have it.
Everyone's going to be biased. You know, I mean, I'm sitting on the pole. I want them to go. You know, the guys sitting out there are all starting in the top 5. Of course, they don't want it to go because they're guaranteed a top 5 starting spot. So, you know, NASCAR's just got to make an independent call, and I don't know what the rule is on that. Like, if the track's green and they say go and you don't go, I don't know if you're on the 5-minute clock or not.
I think we're not on the 5-minute clock. We're just kind of waiting it out, Brian. Thanks. Continue to wait with us.
Wishful thinking, I guess. Yeah, it has picked up a little bit right now, unfortunately. Maybe it'll stop. But I think it was fine there for a while, but they just wouldn't go.
All right, Brian Vickers, he has a lot to lose if it continues raining here, Alan.
Yeah, they're covering up the cars. You do hear some jet dryers going out. We got within 5 cars of finishing qualifying. There are some more additional at-stake items that we can discuss with you after we take a break. Red flag for weather. With 5 cars left to run, Brian Vickers on the pole. How it all is going to turn out, who benefits, who doesn't, that discussion coming up next.
What's this all about?
We're giving Rich the NFL experience of a goal line dive.
Really?
There's an easier way to get an ultimate NFL fan experience. Just snap the tag wherever Bud Light is sold and you could win. Bud Light in the NFL. Here we go.
Did I make it?
On the internet, yes. Into the end zone, no.
I gotta figure this out. I want to focus on innovation, but my data is doubling. Servers are maxed out. I need to think about something else when I run.
With efficient IT solutions from Dell, Doug can shift up to 50% of his company's technology spend from operating costs to innovation. So his company runs better, and so does Doug. Dell, the power to do more.
Hush, little baby, don't you cry. Soon the sun is going to shine.
Toyota presents the Prius family. There's the original one, the bigger one, the smaller one, and the one that plugs in. They're all a little different, just like us.
To be a fan is to be part of this dysfunctional family. We're basically stuck with each other. We project our insecurities, problems, biases on the very same people who we claim to unconditionally love. Hugs are given, and grudges are held. Certain children are favored, and certain favors are traded.
Are you talking about sports?
Join us at Grantland.
Our familiar sound in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series of late, the sound of jet engines and the jet dryers trying to dry a racetrack. As the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying here at New Hampshire under a red flag with just 5 cars left to go. And a little rain shower peppering the speedway, and we'll see if qualifying is able to be finished up and weather conditions allow or not. There you see the 5 cars remaining to go. Montoya, Johnson, Gordon, Kane, and Newman. Juan Pablo strapped inside his car. Now, talked about if it rains out, Ryan Newman gets the pole because of the setting fast time in practice. TJ Bell, driver of that 50, is not going to make the race on time if we finish qualifying. But if qualifying rains out, by qualifying attempts this year by owners and the various rules that are used, he's going to be in the race. And Travis Quapple, who at the moment has been fast enough to qualify on time, is going to be out.
A lot of winners and losers here. That's why we have a standoff, I guess.
Yeah. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, and for everybody that's going to benefit if the thing rains out, somebody's going to lose.
I guess the point of that picture was the guys in the 55 are leaving their car out there saying it's not raining here.
Yeah.
While the 50 was saying we had to put ours under the cover. It's raining so hard.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, we got to cover this up. It's raining. We just can't. Yeah, I'm telling you. All right.
Like they're thinking.
Dave is down there at Debate Central on Pit Road.
Well, and Jimmy Johnson was offered the opportunity to go out ahead of Juan Pablo Montoya and get the track dry for everyone. He declined. What's your biggest concern, though, when we do get the track back in proper qualifying condition? What's the biggest concern going back out, Jimmy?
You just want a dry racetrack to run on is really all that it is. And it's just that pesky mist right now that, in qualifying conditions and what we have on the line with the chase and the championship, you just want prime conditions to go out and have a dry racetrack. So that's all I'm really after. I think there's an argument that after the dryers are on the track, they sometimes put down a little residue from the exhaust of the jet. But I'd take that to have a dry racetrack, no problem. So we'll just kind of wait it out and see what happens.
So given your druthers, would you rather this get washed out, or would you rather go take a lap when it gets dry?
Well, I mean, I feel we've got a great race car, and I could improve my position by 3 spots. But if I go out on a wet racetrack, I think I'm going to drop 10 or 15 spots. So I just want good conditions is all that really boils down to.
Good racetrack. Give him a shot, Alan.
Pretty well analyzed out by Jimmy Johnson. He has more to lose than to gain at the moment. But if conditions are right, he'll be happy to take his chances.
Yeah, I found it interesting when they went back to ask him if he wanted to go ahead of the 42. He didn't become 5-time champion by not being a pretty smart guy to start with. So.
Yeah. By not being on top of all the circumstances. Well, been keeping a careful eye. It's something we've done an awful lot in the last month and a half. 3 rainouts in 6 weeks, and now here we are at the 7th week, and we're watching the radar again. You see, I know
there's a hole.
People are tired of hearing the term. But there's a window in that rain, and we're just waiting for it to open up.
Looks like we might get this done after all.
Jamie, I know you're we're inside the pit studio here. You're outside in the garage area and talking to officials and competitors as well. What are you hearing?
We're getting a lot of practice in this rain stuff out here. But, it's a good time, Alan. We get to talk to all these different characters. But I was just in the NASCAR hauler, and I talked to the president of NASCAR, Mike Helton, and I asked what their plan is, how long they will continue to dry the track. He told me that because that hole in the weather system you were talking about is there, they have hope. Now, there is a race following this qualifying session, so they have to dry it regardless. So he said right now we're not sure how long we'll wait, but we're going to continue to move forward because there's only 5 cars to go.
All right, Jamie, thanks. And as mentioned before, the race schedule at New Hampshire always packed full. This racetrack's so important to this region. And a couple of NASCAR's regional touring series, always a featured part of the card. There's the NASCAR K&N East Pro Series. Getting ready to go right after Sprint Cup qualifying is done. Tomorrow they've got not only the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on the card, but the NASCAR Whelen Modified Series and final practice sessions for the Sprint Cup Series. And I believe another race on the card as well tomorrow, the Regional American-Canadian Tour. So important track regionally for racing. A lot on the schedule every time we come here. A lot to get done. And 5 cars still to get done in Sprint Cup Series qualifying. Brian Vickers hanging on to the pole for now.
Monday, Rick's
Grossman and the surprising Redskins look to remain unbeaten as they take on Tony Romo and the explosive Cowboys. It's an NFC East battle for first place. ESPN Monday Night Football, Redskins-Cowboys at 8:30.
A new Xbox 360 controller, Gears of War 3, some Slim Jims, and a welcome home banner.
Yeah, I'm ready to play Gears 3. Been playing it.
I don't see you online. Are you afraid to face me with my Vulcan chain gun?
I'm not scared. I'm just
Terrified?
Ah! How'd you get into my house?
You said I bet I can beat you home with the game.
I meant your home.
Why would we go to my home? Your fridge is stocked.
Rated M for mature. Get Gears of War 3. The fastest way to play is Walmart.
This is quite the predicament we find ourselves in with this qualifying procedure from practice, and you get to have your speeds locked in if it rains. It's really interesting because those guys, they don't want to go qualify. They want to start top 5. You know, I think NASCAR has always said the drivers are in charge if they want to go out, and they can make the decision if it's too wet or not. And right now, this is a point with this new system with guys getting their practice speeds if it rains out, that we need NASCAR to go out there with the pace car and decide if it's good to go and put these guys on a 5-minute clock. You know, we've qualified in way worse than this, but those guys are camping on it. You know, they do risk finding moisture and sliding really far back, so I understand that, but really, it's not raining at all. We need to be qualifying cars.
How long do you wait till you go back in that NASCAR hauler and say something?
Well, I was over there laughing and joking with them. I'm like, you see what's coming, right? All these guys are just going to sit there and say it's too wet. So they're going to make the right decision. For us, we're 3rd right now. If it rains out, we're 32nd. That's just our struggles in practice with a new car. We put ourselves in this position because we got behind the 8 ball in practice. So it's our own fault if we start 32nd, but it's not the end of the world. It's just, I think this is a really interesting scenario. That's all I'm saying.
Well, we've heard from these guys on this side. Let's go to one of the 5 yet to qualify. Dave is with Jeff Gordon.
And Jamie, he has sat on the pole here 3 times. Jeff, we've been watching the jet dryers go by. I want you to weigh in on the film that the fuel leaves behind. Myth or something that can really affect your qualifying lap when you get going here?
Yeah, I mean, I was really looking forward to getting out there with the DuPont Chevrolet. We were good in practice and, you know, kind of put ourselves in a good position here. You know, this is one of those tracks where you're on the edge in perfect conditions. So the slightest bit of moisture is not good. But now that the track dryers have been out there, you know, if we go back, I don't think any of these cars are going to have a shot at the pole. So we're kind of putting ourselves in a box here. You know, we just wish the weather would have cooperated so we could have got this run in. But, you know, I really thought once the rain got here, we were pretty much done. I thought it would rain hard enough where it wouldn't even be a question. So, you know, right now we're just right there on the edge of being up to run. But again, we'll go out and give it everything we got, but it's certainly not the kind of conditions we'd like to qualify in if we do get back out.
Jeff, you've got Montoya and your teammate Jimmy in front of you. How much can their cars improve the track for your run?
I can tell you I'm really glad I'm not Juan Pablo. You know, the last thing I'd want to be is that first car going out. Probably going to be pretty slick for him. 2 cars later, probably not going to be a lot better, but better than that one.
Thanks for the time. Good luck. Alan?
I hear a little lobbying going on, and rightfully so, from both sides of the argument, both sides of the aisle, if you will.
Yeah, and I'll just caution Kurt Busch that we do keep everything, all of these taped, and one day he's going to be on the other side here, and I'm sure that we'll roll that out and say, okay, you know, you remember that. No, I understand, you understand everybody, the predicament that they're in and the position they're in. So if I was Kurt Busch, I'd be wanting to know the same thing. Why?
So we've got about, 25 people in the pit studio here, a lot behind the scenes. Carl Edwards has been going around working on a feature for ESPN this afternoon with a film crew, and he was supposed to be in here using this now, except we're still using it to do qualifying. So
yes, they're filming us or they're filming someone film us right now.
Yeah.
But before I start, I want to say happy birthday to you. I didn't realize tomorrow you are 50 years old.
Yes, I knew someone would tell you to get that in there somewhere.
Almost as old as Jimmy Johnson. How does that feel? The trick, see, Kurt and those guys, they're worried so much about it raining. The trick is to be so slow in practice and so slow in qualifying that you really don't care if it rains or not. And that's where we're at right now. we are no good either way. So I've been looking at my phone here, and there's actually, I don't know if you can see this, there's a little radar here on my Sprint phone, and there's actually some water that came out of it. That's how realistic the phone is. But It looks like it might rain, actually, and I can tell why Kurt's upset. You know, he had a blistering run. I can't believe he went that fast, and he definitely wants the rain to stay away so that they have to qualify.
Track position at this track for starting on Sunday is kind of big, so the stakes here are a little magnified than they might be at some other racetracks we might go to.
Oh, we're in deep trouble. Thanks for bringing that up again. Yeah, we're you have to qualify well here, because it is very difficult to pass. It's a simple racetrack. It's not a difficult racetrack to drive, and so everyone goes about the same speed. And if you have a very superior car, you can go to the front, but you don't want to start where it looks like we'll be starting. You don't want to start in the back. We're going to have to work on pit strategy. I'm going to have to be very aggressive on restarts and try to get some positions.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We were just talking about pit strategy. How now everybody's got it figured out now.
Yeah.
You can't trick them. You can't out-trick somebody to get that early track position by pulling some strategy.
This is depressing me. You guys are depressing me. How am I supposed to get to the front? You tell me.
Drive it to the front.
That's what Bob tells me every week. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting race. You know, it seems like the track is changed a little bit to me. It seems like turns 1 and 2 are a little slicker than 3 and 4. The car drives a little different at both ends. You know, we used the setup that we ran last time here a little bit in practice, and it drove okay, and then we tried some new stuff, and it drove okay. So, you know, Bob's going to have a lot of work cut out for him. A lot of these crew chiefs are, to try to figure out how to tune these cars.
We are going to take a quick commercial break and come back and continue to wait and see what happens. Hopefully they get this track dried up quickly. These final 5 drivers get out to make a lap, and we can finish up this time trial session here in New Hampshire and know who's going to be on the pole for Sunday.
Do you have this on tape?
Rated M for mature.
I can't take it. I can't.
Are smiley, happy dancing games not your thing? Hello, I'm the official spokesman for Rise of Nightmares. No dancing, no happy, bouncy aerobic, just good old-fashioned violence and gore. Rise of Nightmares.
Only on Connect for Xbox 360.
Escape convention. Escape definition. Escape compromise. Experience the most fuel-efficient luxury car available. The 42 mile per gallon CT Hybrid from Lexus. Break free of the status quo.
Would you like her to rephrase the question?
I'm not going to be the person I'm expected to be anymore.
Bien expected. Bleu de Chanel.
At Macy's.
What makes Dove Men Plus Care different from other deodorants? Only Dove Men Plus Care combines 48-hour protection with our caring 1/4 moisturizer technology in a non-irritant formula. New Dove Men Plus Care deodorant. Tough on sweat, not on skin.
Some have said the Kraken, beast of the blackest seas, was only a myth. Those people have never been seen again. The Kraken, black spiced rum. Release the Kraken.
Hey, Tulsa. What's the over-under on Simmons?
4,012.5 words.
I'll take the over on Simmons and Rutabaga to show.
Join us at Grantland.
The live scene at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, 5 cars from the end of NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying and in a rain delay. Track drying efforts ongoing with Juan Pablo Montoya sitting at the head of the line, trying to figure out if it's going to be Brian Vickers or someone else on the pole for Sunday's race. Of course, rain has been a pretty regular theme for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series of late. Last Sunday's race at Chicagoland Speedway rained out until Monday. When it did run on Monday afternoon, the finish got a little wild. 12 drivers looking to take the first step in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup.
They have to make every position they possibly can. No mistakes anywhere. You can't win this championship here today, but you sure can make it an uphill battle.
Caution is out.
Fuel only for everyone.
That puts us into the outside edge of the window that they can go the rest of the way. It's going to be exactly 50 laps to go.
All right, man, you better let them go and start saving some fuel here.
And for the lead, Tony Stewart.
Save us gas, bud. We should have enough to get there. We're good, right? Yeah, I think so, Kevin.
Look at the guys running out of gas.
Coming to you. It's out. Come running out.
Tony Stewart with his first win of the season.
These strategy races are in play for this chase, and you better be ready for them.
And as we wait out the rain delay today here in New Hampshire in the pit studio with Dale Jarrett, Andy Petrie, and Carl Edwards, who had enough fuel to make the finish on Monday at Chicagoland. I was about to say New Hampshire, where that's Friday at New Hampshire.
I don't know what day it is or where we're at either.
And wound up working to your benefit a little bit.
Yeah, it was amazing. We crossed the start-finish line out of fuel. I said, "Where would he finish?" They said 4th. And I couldn't believe that many guys had run out of fuel. And it's a very difficult thing. We watched the tape, and right away we knew as drivers that we were going to be close. So it was just a battle of restraint. Who could go the easiest and somehow fight those voices in your head that are screaming race, race, race. And a lot of guys ran out, and it was literally the last lap that made the difference. So one last lap, and the race would have looked a lot different.
Yeah, it seems like it's efficiency more than anything with these when it does come down to making up a lap or two, and who can lose the least amount of time and get there. And Tony Stewart looks like he's really good at it. I put you in that group, and I think Brad Keselowski's in there too.
Yep.
Some of them are not so good at it. They have to slow down so much to save fuel that they can't,
Right.
and then they can't make it. I mean, Matt didn't even make it to the end.
I got to do a neat promotion with the Ford Fusion Hybrid, and I'm not just plugging Ford because I drive one.
Job of it anyway.
But they showed. I got to be with this hyper miler guy, and he showed me some tricks for getting fuel mileage about just little stuff. And I read a book about carburetors once, and that helped a little bit. But as I watched some of those guys out there racing, they were able to drive really hard. Dale Jr. is the one that stuck out to me. I mean, I knew he was going to run out of fuel. He had that car sideways, just driving the heck out of it. Somehow he was still able to make it to the end. So I think everyone has different strategies. But there are some guys who knows, some of those guys might have finished with half a gallon left,
I couldn't help but notice you didn't tell us any of those tricks you learned.
That's what I was Yeah, what hyper mileage? What is this all about? You danced all around it without telling us a whole lot right there.
Well, somehow they made that Ford Fusion go 1,300 miles on a tank of fuel, but I'm obviously not that good. But what you said was right. You have to. It's the guys who can do it without losing as much time. Kevin Harvick, Tony Stewart, and Dale Jr., those are the guys I thought that did a really good job. Towards the end, Brad and I were running together, and we were just racing each other. So when he'd slow down, I'd slow down. When I'd speed up, he'd speed up. But those guys, those front three guys, somehow were able to go a little faster than the rest of us and somehow still make it to the end. That was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I thought about this racetrack. I was telling during the commercial there, I've been telling everybody how difficult a racetrack this is, and you come in here and say it's easy. But your take on the jet dryer coming out here and what we just heard Jeff Gordon talking about, that he doesn't think because of that, basically, that these 5 cars really have a good shot. Do you feel that way as far as that residue from the jet fuel making the track a little slicker?
Well, I think after watching Kurt's interview, you got to realize that all of us drivers, you know how it is. We want whatever we think is best for us at the time. But from my perspective, where I don't care if it rains or not, I would say that I would be a little bit nervous to be the first guy out after that jet dryer. I think that was a good question. Is that a myth or is that real? But I think there is there's something about drying that track, filling it maybe with a little bit of sand and grit and jet fuel that makes it a little slippery.
If it's nothing more than getting in your head as a driver, don't need any help there, do we?
Yeah, no joke. We have very fragile minds, us drivers.
You were talking about voices in your head there a minute ago, so I let that line go. You see Juan Pablo Montoya still sitting at the head of the qualifying line. Casey Kane is one of the drivers still yet to run, and Dave, he's hanging out down there.
Well, he's first one back from the end of the line here, so he's still out of his car, hasn't put his helmet back on yet. Casey, I want to know, is there anything that you would want to know, see, hear, go out and touch or do anything to know that the track is in the right condition for you?
I think just pay attention to the 42 when he goes, and that'll tell us all, how good or bad the track is. I wish we'd have just kept going, but they said it was raining a little harder on the back and into turn 3 than what it was here. So now we're just just sprinkling. It's really not going to go away. So we'll see. And then jet fuel, I don't know if that makes the track faster or slower.
Are you sure?
Seems slower, but you never know. If it rained a little harder and then they dried it, I think we'd be 1, 2, 3. We'd probably be top 5 qualifiers. Because I remember they did that a few years ago. And I think Patrick Carpentier got the pole here right after the rain. He was flying. So
washed it clean, and then there was a ton of grip, basically?
Yeah, exactly. It was kind of green. But it didn't rain that much, so that's not going to be the case. Still like to try to get 2 Red Bull cars on the front row. That'd be pretty cool. Brian put a great lap down.
All right, well, I guess in Casey's mind, watch the 42 to see, Alan, how good a speed for him.
And good time to end the interview there, Dave, with the jet dryers coming by. We'll be able to hear you in a minute anyway.
Well, I've seen that. It's track dependent on that. You're talking about these dryers. I've seen some tracks where they'll have a break or just a little shower. They'll go out there and blow it off with these jet dryers. The track pick up a couple of 3/10 of a second. That could happen here. You know, they could go either way for these guys. And like I said, they're just waiting on Montoya to be the guinea pig.
Yeah, if I wanted a little more confidence about what the track was, though, I might want to close my eyes with the 42 and watch the 48 and the 24 when they go. I think that may be a little bit more if you want to get a little bit of confidence, because I don't think in any situation that Montoya is going to have a very good position to be here, being the first one out.
Well, not with that attitude.
I'm telling you,
he's that now sitting here.
There's no telling what he's sitting there thinking, but I guarantee you when they let him go, he's going to go. So we'll know if it's got grip. If he goes sliding up the racetrack in the first corner, then there's something wrong with the track. But he very well could lay down a blistering lap. But that was amazing what Casey said. I'd forgotten about Carpentier. These could be track record times, you see, after they dry it off.
We'll see if we get a chance to find out. Rain delay in qualifying with 5 cars left to go. And waiting out some track drying. Hopefully conditions allow qualifying to be finished sooner than later here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway.
Moving across the country has been great for me. I don't know if I could say the same for my parents. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to them. I'm just pretty much killing it out here. They say they're happy. I mean, what do you think they do every day without me there? Are they eating? They must really miss me. I'm their only child, except for my sister.
Venza from Toyota.
Your car is everything. Your taxi, your moving van, your baby. And for over 30 years, AutoZone has had the parts you can count on to keep it going. But parts are just part of what we do. We're part buddy, part mentor, part of the American way of doing things. So whether you're Mr. DIY or a master mechanic, AutoZone has your back. Parts are just part of what we do.
Get in the zone.
AutoZone.
Science. Yeah. Know the science. I want it all. Cause a reaction. Powerade Ion 4. Focus, hustle, hydrate, believe.
16 mascots. 1 winner. View their epic tales of courage, honor, and fur, and vote for your favorite mascot at CapitalOneBowl.com.
Why aren't you skating?
It's my leg.
Hold my stones.
What's your name?
My name? It's Keith Stone.
Keith Stone, you're so smooth.
Always.
Keystone Light is always smooth, like Keith Stone. A new Xbox 360 controller, Gears of War 3, some Slim Jims, and a welcome home banner.
Yeah, I'm ready to play Gears 3. I've been playing it. I don't see you online. Are you afraid to face me with my Vulcan chain gun? Not scared. I'm just... Terrified? Ah! How'd you get into my house? You said I bet I can beat you home with the game. I meant your home. Why would we go to my home? Your fridge is stocked.
Rated M for mature. Get Gears of War 3. The fastest way to play is Walmart.
If a fan just gets his hand out of the way, Moises makes the catch.
Steve Bartman was just a guy. Today he's the most infamous fan on the planet.
The big mystery was, who was this guy?
What if I told you that fate can be fair or foul? ESPN Films presents Catching Hell, directed by Alex Gibney, Tuesday at 8, only on ESPN. Brought to you by Buick.
As we sit under the red flag late in qualifying, the top three at this point are Kurt Busch, who probably stands to lose the most if this qualifying gets rained out and doesn't get completed. He's third fastest for the moment. He'd be 31st if we start on the rain procedures. Greg Biffle outside of the front row for now in his Ford with a solid lap. And the man they are all chasing at the moment is Brian Vickers. Vickers with the fastest lap of qualifying so far, a little bit better than 134.6 miles an hour. And the Vic is the top man in qualifying with 5 cars left to go. Rain shower stopped qualifying with those 5 left to go. Here are the top 10 at the moment.
Yeah, as I look back in 8th there, Dale Earnhardt Jr. had a nice qualifying effort, but he would start 20th, so a lot to lose there.
And again, this as they run with the 5 cars still yet to go, and hoping that the rest of the track can be dried up and we can get those final 5 cars run and finish up this qualifying. Hearing from NASCAR that their biggest concern is turn 2 and what did I hear? Turn 2 and turn 4 are their biggest concerns at the moment that they're trying to concentrate on a little bit, finish up so that...
I always had a problem with those myself, even when it wasn't raining.
You know, I think there was a little water while I was qualifying out there, actually. I think that might have been
there you go.
That's the story.
Oh, we've got some breaking news in the garage, folks. We're going to send it down to Jamie Little.
Well, Carl, I'm working under the hood on your car here, just passing some time for the rain delay, and I found out the reason why you were so slow. Spark plugs. Where's your boss man? There's a couple out here. At least that's what they tell me.
We're not letting Jamie work on our car, are we?
You never know. I might find some good stuff in here, but no, just kidding. Your spark plugs look fine, so the answer to why you're slow, I can't help
Those
you.
look like the new
good.
ones. I don't think they've even been in there yet.
I can
No,
feel
they are brand new. They're hot, though.
this is the turning
But they're
point of our
race plugs.
weekend right now. We've got Jamie down there. She's going to turn things around. It's going to be great. Yep.
Race plugs. They're going in now, Carl. This is going to be the magic.
And you can see Doug Empson, our engine man there, thinking that this is a very serious television segment. He's working on it, trying to look
Because your
really
team
cool.
is very serious. We've seen your crew chief lately. I don't know what you've done
what's
with him.
up with him now? You got Bob singing on the radio?
Yeah, I don't know what's happened about it's coming apart, folks. We've got TV people working on spark plugs, crew chiefs singing on the radio. I'm doing television. It's the racing world is upside down. But he's been a lot of fun lately. I think he's got a little confidence. It's neat to hear Bob joke around. And as a driver, when your crew chief's lighthearted and he's having a good time. Oh, hey, he's calling me right now. Yeah.
Did it have anything to do with? Did you think it had anything to do with you signing back on, and he knows he's got a great driver for a few more years?
I don't know. Let's ask him. What's going on, Bob?
Make sure he knows he's live on television, please.
You're live on television. Say hi to the viewers. You got any songs you want to sing for us, Bob?
No, that's for...
Let's try the Here Comes the Sun.
I can't believe you let somebody know that.
Come on, sing one song.
I'm getting off now.
All right, I'll talk to you later. Well,
he obviously wasn't in front of the TV when Jamie was up under the hood of his car either.
Yeah, that was not planned, folks. But yeah, Bob seems to be. You guys can tell he's a really fun-loving guy. He cares. He's a competitor, and when Bob is concentrating, he is all business. And he's been the same since the first 30 minutes we worked together at Test in Kentucky. He's a racer.
The conversation earlier in the day, that if you were with us on the practice coverage we had from 11:31 Eastern time, we captured this on the radio between Bob and Carl.
52. You gotta say the first part. 2940. You were just going 52. I couldn't tell what it was. You can't tell 52 to 52? Well, it might have been 62 or some other two, I hear you. 10-4, no worries. 29:48.
As you can see, communication is a very important part in racing. We, sometimes they push the button and I think they get a little excited and they start screaming the numbers. So
we have that same problems with producers sometimes.
Yeah, his name's Ifty.
Yeah, Ifty, the producer.
All right, we hear NASCAR may be sending the jet dryers away. I heard part of that anyway. So we're going to come back to the resumption of qualifying in a minute.
We were on TV?
Yeah.
Science,
Yeah.
Know the science.
I want it all.
Cause a reaction. Powerade Ion 4. Focus, hustle, hydrate, believe.
Whatever happened to clothes? Now men dress like boys, prancing about in capri pants and baseball caps. Come on, dress like a man. And try drinking like one, too. 1800 tequila.
Each of these photos was taken by someone on the first morning of their retirement. It's the first of more than 6,000 sunrises the average retiree will see. As we're living longer than ever before, Prudential's challenge is to help everyone have the retirement income they'll need to enjoy every one of their days. Prudential. Bring your challenges.
Max and his son made their way homeward bound when mischievous rain dropped down, down, down. Safety was threatened by every roguish drip. They slipped and slid. They couldn't get a grip. Then along came the Michelin Man, reminding them the right tire changes everything. So with Michelin tires, rainy days weren't so tricky. Stop up to 29 feet shorter than a leading competitor with the Michelin tire. Michelin, a better way forward.
I'm telling you, by body shot.
No, a knockout by body shot never happens.
Trust me, it did.
I've taken a 5-finger death punch like that, and let me tell you how it feels. A punch like that causes all sorts of strange satellite pain. You can feel a punch like that in the arches of your feet, in your back, in your eyes.
Join us at Grantland.
GameFly is amazing. It allows me to get access to any game I want.
Join GameFly, choose the games you want online, get them in the mail, and send them back when you're done.
GameFly has a huge selection of titles. Before GameFly, I could never play as many games as I wanted to because I couldn't afford it.
Go to GameFly.com now. Click the joystick in the top right corner, enter World in the box, and get started with a free extended trial. And remember, you can cancel at any time. Product shown rated E through M.
There is no better deal than GameFly, period.
Hi, I'm Monta Williams from Money Mutual, your trusted source to over 60 lenders that can get you up to $1,000 in your checking account by tomorrow. These are tough times, and if you're facing an unexpected car repair bill, a medical emergency, or you just need extra cash to hold you over until payday, then you need to know about Money Mutual, an easy way to get short-term cash fast. So forget about bounced checks, overdraft charges, and late fees.
Need cash tomorrow? Call 1-800-585-CASH today.
Live New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Juan Pablo Montoya has just taken the green flag. Qualifying has resumed after a pretty lengthy delay for weather.
Not looking so good. Looks like it might have a little bit less grip than it had before.
Montoya was 5th fastest in the practice earlier today. That first lap will be 31st.
Oh, this is much faster.
You had to expect it to be a little bit cautious on that first lap. Got a lot of speed into one, but paid the price there.
And I can tell you that deodorant does work. I have some. It reacts to adrenaline.
Really? Does it work?
It does work. I'm wearing it right now.
Hey, he said it's rain.
Well,
now his audio when he pulled out, he said he thought it was still raining. So if he saw moisture in the air, that's really hard as a driver to have confidence when you go drive down there in the corner. He had no clue if it was going to stick or not.
So 27th for Montoya with his second lap. And I suspect he's not going to be very happy.
No, he needs to, he's going to really hope that it's going to start raining now.
So, here's Jimmy Johnson.
Jimmy's not going to go. He shut his off.
That's interesting. So when he pulls out, unless he crosses the start-finish line.
I think it's raining pretty hard on the back. Jimmy's coming back in.
He could do one or two things. I mean, NASCAR could just stop it right here, or if they don't want to, they'll put him on the 5-minute clock. And I guess he can watch somebody else qualify.
His engine's not running, so he's still got the car's still cooled down, and he didn't wear out the tires. That's good.
It is hard right here, as it has been the whole time, or harder.
So here's the catch-22 to all this. Okay, so Johnson says, I don't want to go. They put him on the 5-minute clock. So who's next? Jeff Gordon.
They're booing him.
Yeah. He's going to pull out. shut it off and go on the 5-minute clock, right? Figure what he just saw. Yeah. And
I wonder what Montoya thought of the track.
We should interview him right now.
Probably not too much, I'm going to guess.
Yeah, I should have done that. That's why I asked Colin what to do. It's freaking raining.
And Juan Pablo Montoya not happy on the radio. You said you saw raindrops all the way around. What is your impressions? What do you want to say to NASCAR and everybody else?
They know the truck is in bad condition. They tried to work on it, and it looked like it was in reason. As soon as I went, it was full of rain in the windshield. I even asked, well, should I go or should I go? And I tried to go, and I mean, we got a car that was fast enough to be on pole, and we're like 27. It's a freaking joke.
Very frustrated right now, and they did know that they've never qualified this poorly here. Two-time pole sitter and Juan Pablo Montoya, Alan.
It's a very tough situation to be in as a driver. I don't know what, when they say you've got to go, it's kind of, I don't know the rule, whether you have to go or can you stop and you just wait your 5-minute clock out. What do you do?
Well, I think common sense says when the sheriff says go, you go. Now the question is, what do they do with the rest of this qualifying session? And again, Jimmy Johnson pulling out, shutting off, pulling back in. Where do we go from here is the question.
And remember, too, that there is still some lobbying going on. For Juan to say what he said there, he's helping to further the cause of the guys who don't want to go so that this gets canceled and that he'll have a much better position, a starting position than his 27th. And I'm not saying he's making a story up or anything like that, but he definitely wants them to end this qualifying.
And Brian Vickers on the pole for the moment, pending these final 4 cars to run. And if it should rain out, Brian is going to start back in 17th. And Jimmy Johnson, if it rains out, would start in 4th.
Yeah, I think you can go back to what Jeff Gordon said earlier as we listened to his interview. You're so on the edge here to begin with, Carl, especially just in a 2-lap qualifying effort. Cold tires, the brakes aren't heated up, nothing. It is a tough 2 laps of qualifying. So anything that would hamper that makes it almost to the dangerous situation.
Yeah, I'm sitting in a solid 19th right now with a lap that I thought was great. So any water would have really hurt me.
Yeah. As Jimmy Johnson went out onto the racetrack for that brief moment, here's what came across his radio.
1 and 2 is where, when I left pit road, there was water in the windshield. Through the center of 1 and off the 2 and halfway down the back. Then it seemed to get better down the back.
So the analysis from the 5-time champ as to what he saw when he went out and has come back in and parked at the head of the grid on pit road. So the conversation's ongoing there about what to do. And from the language of the official there at the head end of that car, it looks like they're talking to him and trying to find a way to get the rest of this qualifying session going.
Well, I mean, that's what they want to happen. Obviously, everybody wants that to happen, and it's the fair way of making things go for the rest of this day and to be the fair thing for everyone. But if you can't just say we got to get this in just for the sake of that, it has to be a safe and fair environment for everybody.
So we're in a pickle.
We're
in a pickle.
And for the fans at home that are cheering for Kurt Busch, he's going to be a big loser on this if it gets rained out. It looks like Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to lose a ton of spots if he has to start where he went in qualifying. We're going to lose a couple of spots. So it'll change the starting field. It could have a huge impact on the race and the chase for that matter.
So, and again, the fact of who gets in and who doesn't get into the race. TJ Bell is going to get in. Travis Kvapil is going to get left out if it's rained out. But we sit for the moment on hold. Ryan Newman gets the pole if it rains out. May have a shot at the pole if we finish running.
Rated M for mature.
I can't take it. I can't.
Are smiley, happy dancing games not your thing? Hello, I'm the official spokesman for Rise of Nightmares. No dancing, no happy, bouncy aerobic, just good old-fashioned violence and gore. Rise of Nightmares.
Only on Connect for Xbox 360.
Guys live their life a little differently. And we get it. So we built Sports Clips exclusively for you. We know happiness is a big screen TV, a legendary hot steam towel, and a great haircut from men's and boys specialists. Sport Clips. It's good to be a guy. Find the store near you and ask for our MVP treatment.
Americans. We're the creators of things born of an independent spirit. Designers of the great. Architects of the useful. Composers of the loud. Builders of the beautiful. We live in a country that lets people make things they believe in. And that's as American as, well.
Back in New Hampshire, looking live, Jimmy Johnson has just rolled from the pit lane onto the New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and here he comes to the green flag for his 2-lap qualifying run. 4 cars to go. Brian Vickers on the pole. In theory, he's the fastest 4 from practice earlier today. What are the track conditions he's going to find?
Not good.
Oh, boy. And Jimmy Johnson is obviously one of the mentally the toughest competitors out there, so he is going to get everything this track has. He's not going to go out there mad or angry. He's just going to go get everything he can. It looks like it does not have a lot of grip.
Now, that's a big, big slip off of turn 2. You could, I mean, they said earlier, turns 2 and turns 4 were what they were looking at as the big problems.
Another lap to go. First one for Jimmy, 30th fastest.
That's about 4/10 off of what we saw the cars that their first laps. They were down in the 28:40 bracket. That was a 28:86 for Jimmy.
Better exit of 2. Top left there of the ticker. He's tracking toward the top 10.
Pretty good lap right there.
That's a heck of a lap. Yeah, that's a great effort right there.
7th fastest for Johnson on his 2nd lap around.
So that first lap, he pushed the limits. He figured out where the grip level was. The 2nd lap, he gathered it all up. That was a perfect lap. He picked up time the whole lap.
So Jimmy Johnson done, leaving now 3 cars left to qualify. Jeff Gordon, Casey Kane, Ryan Newman, and Brian Vickers still sitting on pole position. All right, so you're Gordon. Somebody has radioed to you what they saw or observed from Johnson's run, right?
Yeah, and I think what we've seen, well, we've seen every car but 2 pick up on the 2nd lap anyway. So, you know, Jeff is probably just thinking, okay, let's just get some heat in the tires, not do anything crazy on this first one, and then I can attack it on the 2nd. That's easy sitting here to say.
It is. So this is actually a faster lap right now to this point than Jimmy's first lap was. So maybe a little confidence Jeff got from Jimmy's 2nd lap there.
Yeah, maybe Jimmy cleaned the groove off a little bit too.
Yeah, I still think that in all of this, hopefully it looks like we may get it all in, but Montoya was in the worst position that you could possibly be put in as that first car out after the delay.
Yeah, right now he is probably very, very frustrated.
Watching that ticker, top left.
This
Jeff
is a
can do the
good
same
lap.
thing. Yeah, he's got a really good one going.
Turns 3 and 4 have had a little bit more grip all day, so we'll see how he goes down there.
Yeah, this is the part right here is where Brian Vickers was really good in his run. We've seen everybody lose a little bit, but Gordon's hanging tough.
As good as I can do right there, boys.
That's not too shabby. 28:39 for Jeff Gordon, 5th fastest out of 43 with 2 cars to go.
You know, regardless of the grip level of the track, it takes, you know, some mental toughness to go out there and run a lap like that right now.
Yes, it does. I would know what it takes to run a lap like that. I couldn't touch that all day. They're doing a really good job to sit there that long, to have that much time to think about it, and then to hear Montoya's comments. It's pretty amazing. These guys just went out and ran those fast laps.
Jimmy Johnson going to check out the numbers on the computer. Here is the teammate of the man who's currently on pole, Brian Vickers on pole, Casey Kane on the clock for his 2 laps.
You can tell he feels like he needs a lot more heat in his tires there, Carl.
Yeah, he's working really hard to get the tires warmed up, even across the start-finish line on the first lap. So he's throwing away this first lap.
While we watch Casey Kane run, Jimmy Johnson has climbed from his car.
He has. Jimmy, this is a rare circumstance here. Did you learn anything watching the 42 go out before you?
No, not necessarily watching him, but this process, I've always wondered what would happen if the drivers didn't think the track was dry enough, and I learned a lot through this process today. And you know, I don't think it's ideal conditions for anyone, but I think NASCAR did their best job to give us drivers what we were looking for in a dry racetrack. It's still slick, you know, it's just kind of how it is. but the effort was made. And although I kind of hate that my car was that sideways, I really appreciate their effort to make sure the track was dry and giving us a good racetrack to go out and drive on.
Top 10 effort for Jimmy Johnson. Alan?
This is going to be close. Got it. New leader in qualifying, Casey Kane.
All right, man. P1, 28-26. See what Newman's got here.
That's it. Kenny Francis telling his driver 1 car to go.
That takes some guts to sacrifice that first lap with everything that's gone on to save up for that second lap. That's a pretty amazing lap Casey just laid down.
Yeah, and they only have to take the guy now and watch him, the guy that's won the most poles here and won the pole and the race back here in July.
Well, Kane, when we interviewed him earlier, said maybe an all Red Bull Racing front row. That's up to this guy and his car. Here is the Rocket Man.
He's pretty good at qualifying.
Yeah, I think he's got that figured out pretty well.
Yes, it is amazing.
Yeah, look at this first lap. It just has that ability, Carl, to get everything out of the car. I mean, just carry a lot of speed and back in the gas.
He's not going to need 2 laps.
Wow.
Guys. There's nobody to go. If he can get it here, he doesn't need to run another.
This is what we've always seen from Ryan Newman. He's going to get it. He's going to be not too far from what he sat on the pole with here in July.
Now what do? Do you run another lap?
Shut her down. Shut her down.
Wow.
No, actually, go ahead. Run another lap, Brian. Be just fine.
That's good, buddy. That's good. 21.
Shut her down.
That's it.
There's the word from Cruising Tony Gibson.
Wow.
In 1 lap,
Awesome
Ryan
job,
Newman
guys.
to the pole.
There's only 3 cars that have run a faster first lap. Well, we don't even know what he would have run in the second lap.
Carl, thanks. Appreciate you being here. I know you came in here to do something else, but appreciate you sitting in here during the rain delay with us.
Thanks for letting me be a part of it. I'm going to the Lobster Bake to benefit Speedway Children's Charities now, so appreciate everybody's help.
There you go. Ryan Newman on the pole. Jeff Gordon's going to end up 7th, Dave.
Well, ask Jeff what he thinks. Given the circumstances, Jeff, what do you think of that?
I wasn't expecting the pole to come there in those final 6 cars, so the track was obviously better than we anticipated. It's going to rain any second now, so we missed. I think the track conditions were not that bad. I still wouldn't want to have been Juan Pablo. I hated it for him, but for when we went out, I felt like we were just a little bit too free, which we were on the edge of that in practice anyway. So 7th, I was hoping to be a little bit better than that, but still not a bad day.
Good qualifying spot here at New Hampshire. Alan?
Well, we've had a little bit of drama to this in the end. Mother Nature providing some of that, and when it came right down to it, when almost everybody else's second lap of their 2-lap qualifying run was quickest all day, the last man on the racetrack needed only 1 lap to go to the top of the stack. Ryan Newman on the pole again at New Hampshire.
Yeah, I think that sends a big message out for Sunday. I mean, he won this race back in July, or won here at this racetrack back in July, and right in the middle of the chase.
Yeah, Kurt Busch dodged a bullet, gets a good start spot. So does Dale Jr. You're starting 12.
Brad Keselowski, row 8. Tony Stewart, row 10. And a look back through the rest of the starting grid.
Uphill battle for Matt Kenseth, Denny Hamlin, but very capable.
And because of the situation, Juan Pablo Montoya going to be well deep in the field. And there you see Scott Speed gets the final starting spot. Steve Park and TJ Bell, the 2 drivers who will not make Sunday's Sylvania 300. Ryan Newman on the pole, Jamie.
Well, I guess we saved the best for last, and you had to wait almost an hour to go out for your run compared to what you should have. How was that wait for you?
It was a little dramatic. I mean, this, you got to look at what the 48 did, and it was raining when he went out. So, I mean, it's a tough situation. It's a tough call. NASCAR, I thought, did a good job moderating the situation with us drivers, and just really proud of the guys. This is the same car we had here in July, and this Haas Automation car this weekend. So, we got a good starting spot. Don't know what's going to happen tomorrow with the weather, but feel like we got a really good race car. We just need to keep our nose clean.
Now, looking at the times, do you think anything would have been different if the rain hadn't have come and washed some of the rubber off?
I don't think so. If you look at what guys were picking up in qualifying over practice, it was 2 to 3 tenths, and that's right where we were. So, I mean, I really don't think, I think because of the conditions, it was cloudy all day. The track dryers probably put a little bit of heat back into the racetrack that the rain kind of washed out, so I think it all kind of averaged out. But just really proud of our guys to go through something like that and still be able to capitalize.
Holding with bated breath, but they come out on top. 6th pole for Ryan Newman at New Hampshire. Alan?
All right, so the field is set for race number 2 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, the Sylvania 300, ESPN, Sunday at 1 Eastern. Sports Nation is next. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. So long from New Hampshire.